Good afternoon!
Wow!
Hey, welcome in. Happy rainy Tuesday, everybody. It's a Tuesday,
It is a Tuesday.
which just means that it's the worst day of the week.
Indeed.
And we're all here for it.
It
Not
does
even a
kind
hump
of
day.
feel like the Tuesdayest of Tuesdays, doesn't it?
Today is when the rain is pounding down.
It was cold yesterday, too.
Yeah.
I was outside and I was like, I'm going to go
Yeah.
barbecue. And I was out there
Ooh.
getting a little Q done.
What'd you barbecue?
Flank steak.
What'd you grill? Oh, a little flank steak.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what turned into the tacos that I
Very
just
nice.
ate.
You go with a marinade or a rub?
Marinade.
Yeah?
I made fajitas.
Okay.
Mm.
So a little black top on the
Good
barbecue.
fajita.
Yeah.
I do. But I was sitting there and I'm like, I took a deep breath and I could see my breath. I'm like,
Yeah.
huh.
That's what cold does.
Yeah, well, I just didn't expect it to be that cold. I'm like, is
Science.
there something going on here? I grabbed my phone, 45 degrees. And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I'm out here in a tank top,
Yeah.
Crocs and shorts, and it's 45 and I'm
Mhm.
barbecuing. What the hell is wrong with me? Among many other things.
Do
I was
we
gonna say,
have
there's a
enough
lo-
time
I was
to
gonna say-
unpack
Yeah,
that?
that's more than a 3-hour show.
It's a long
'Cause
list.
I was about to do the, and here's where we can start, and then we can go down the list from there. But yeah, it was a chilly one. It was a chilly.
Are we in 6th spring now?
Nah, yeah, we're kind of reversing.
Yeah.
We're reverting back. It feels a little wintry, but
It's funny, my
we're
first
getting there.
grader on most days on the way to the bus stop every morning now, she asks me, she goes, Dad, is today another fake spring?
Yeah, no. Today we
No,
get beat down.
Yeah, I think we're actually in real spring now, which brings the rain. And yeah, it is real
It's made
spring.
it very, very, very difficult for me to mow the yard. The backyard, my yard debris bin
Yeah.
was nearly full because my wife had got a wild hair and decided she wanted to rip up some rose bushes and like load the
Whoa, just
bin.
ripping them out,
Just
huh?
ripped them out. And I was like, okay, cool. It's
Wow.
whatever you want to do. Like that's your world. You go ahead and you live in it. But I was like, hey, if you're gonna do that, can you give me kind of a heads up and not fill the entire yard debris bin the day after it's emptied, and it won't be emptied for 2 weeks? Because I was like,
I mean, that actually, no, you need to reframe this line
No.
of thinking, Danny. Because if the yard debris bin is then full for the next 2 weeks,
Guess what? Look, I would love to go mow the lawn, but there's nowhere to put all the
That's-
clippings.
Well,
that is
that's
a
why-
wily veteran right
well, that's
there.
the problem.
Yeah.
My grass is like up to my knee.
No, so,
Again, not your problem. She
Yeah.
wouldn't fill that bin.
okay,
Yeah, but that means I have to mow it down like 4 times now.
look, this is, you just cut it and leave it,
Oh,
okay?
she
It'll
will,
make the
she
roots,
will murder me.
It makes the roots stronger.
yeah,
It makes the roots stronger.
I'll
Just
give you
keep
the
telling
phone.
yourself that.
You go ahead and tell her that.
Okay, well, I'll do that. We'll do that in the break. We'll record that.
Well,
We'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, it's not going to go good.
here's the other thing, too. Being that you live in the Burg of News,
Yes.
I assume that you probably can't throw a dead cat without hitting like a burn pile somewhere.
Sure, you got that. I'm sure there's like,
yeah, but the
is
thing
there a
about like
ditch near you, near like your front yard where you can just like
just-
throw it in the throw the
light-
grass in the
light
ditch?
them rose bushes on fire.
Whoa. I mean,
Ooh, everybody likes a good burn pile.
Yeah.
except for all the
ditches have
neighbors.
other uses. Okay.
Okay, but you're framing this the wrong way. You just need to frame it as this is actually good for me because I won't have to do the yard work.
Yeah, but look, I am with you
There's rules.
for most extents on this, but
Where are we going to put it?
I hadn't got around to doing the first mow, and
Mm-hmm.
so it started to grow up, and I was like, oh no. And then I was able to do like a little bit of a mow,
Yeah,
but there's still like a section the size of a Winnebago
yeah,
in the backyard that there's nowhere to put anything.
yeah,
And I was like, okay.
yeah. If she's really motivated for you to do that yard work
Mm.
there, she'll do what my beautiful bride did, which was I gave see, yard debris full. I show up 2 days later, we got a 44-gallon garbage can that is yard debris 2.0.
She upgraded
You know?
the can.
She did,
We
but
got
guess
use a
what?
bigger bin.
I had 2 days where I was like, yeah, well, I had no space. I
See-
don't know where to put it.
See, we already have the big,
Well, then fill that up. What are you complaining
no,
about?
It's full.
Well, then she'll get another one if you want that one full.
Oh, good Lord. Don't,
We have
don't
the
give
big
her
one.
any ideas.
Well, I'm just saying.
Don't give her any ideas.
I'm just saying. You're playing this the wrong way. You got to have her motivated.
But
to get
also
that big
now
can.
We're
it's
trying
now
to
it's-
help here, man.
But now it's
Yeah,
wet.
we're
but it's
problem
also now it's
solving.
wet. Now it's wet again. So even if It was empty. It's just going to sit there and do its spring
Mm.
thing, which means it's going to grow like full Jumanji style.
Okay.
Vancouver Ford text line, new rock garden installed, no mowing. Yes, so
Oof.
I have a RV parking spot on my property
Yeah.
that was fully graveled with like nice stone.
Yeah.
It's full of grass now.
Yeah, we
because the
have-
grass just took over.
Yeah, we
I
have a
was like,
technical RV parking on one side too,
Right.
and we also put down the pea gravel, and it's not
No,
just pea gravel.
no,
I am,
the grass took hold
Yeah.
and said, "You will not have rocks here."
Yeah.
We had the discussion yesterday about how do we get this out of here, and I was like, lots of shovels.
It's called landscaping fabric.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta throw that down. You're gonna have to go in with grass killer over the top.
Not just grass killer. You need the all vegetation killer.
Yeah, you
like
do.
some crossbow,
Yes.
perhaps.
Whoa, all right.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have
That's
to
what
kill
you
I'm
that.
just picturing you with like a medieval crossbow.
Well, no, the crossbow. That's the brand. That's what
I
you use
know.
for the blackberries.
What I'm looking, what I'm hearing here, Mr. Meringue, grass up to the knees, the RV parking spot taken over by grass.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to start subscribing to the I do a little bit of work year round to not have the oh god, this is gonna be a whole like that.
It's one of those things where it's like
That's a tough one, dude.
when the I don't mind doing the yard work. Actually,
Yeah.
it's kind of a nice little like throw the AirPods in, kind of get away, tune out everything. It's
Sure.
nice.
It is nice.
But there's so much to work with that it gets the when the spring has sprung.
His property is so grand.
Well, it's a half acre, man.
It
Like,
is, it's a lot.
It's a decent amount of property,
Yeah, you got to sign up. You got to sign up for that commitment.
and I did, and I love it. But when the grass does grow, it goes from like, hey, I'm not here, hey, I'm not here, hey, I'm not here, hey, I'm a foot tall.
Yeah,
like there's not a
That's how the grass works.
there's not an in
turf that
between.
bad boy.
And look, man, the one thing that's nice about living in Yamhill County, in Washington County, if you throw down concrete, they tax you.
What?
Oh yeah, if you put concrete down, like if you want to expand your driveway, that is taxable property. And the reason I know this is my parents did.
How
it.
is? But it's already your property.
buddy? I'm just telling you.
And I guess we didn't put down concrete. We put down brick and exposed aggregate. But
I think there's limits to it, but like blacktop is not taxable either. So that's what people get around it. They pour the blacktop,
Wow.
the asphalt. But in Newburgh, anything goes. So I might just like make the RV park spot a concrete spot.
Anything goes except for those books in the library.
Yeah.
also,
Ding 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 ding.
this coming in on the text line: second yard debris bin costs $4 a month from Waste Management. Helps so much.
Ooh,
$4 a month. I mean,
that's
But
not
also,
bad.
I don't like giving
not
Waste
bad.
Management any more money. They're
Yeah.
monsters. They send me like little photographs like once every 4 months of like
oh,
my
if your
trash
bin
can
is
lid
just slightly open.
slightly open.
Yeah.
It's $4. And I'm like,
Well,
cool. Where were you the week the weather went away or the weather was miserable and you didn't show up and I had 2 weeks worth of trash
well,
built up?
and what I love is how
Jerks.
when they send you that picture in the email, it says we had there was a what do they call it? Like a pickup incident.
Yeah.
A retrieval incident.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's like, really? My bin was an inch open.
Yeah, Waste
you
Management's
a-holes.
the mafia. Don't like them.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen lots of movies and TV shows about the mafia and garbage
I'm
services.
I'm not saying anything here.
Mm.
I'd like it to be known. Dusty is not speaking. You guys are both going to show up tomorrow.
I
broken
love that the
legs.
Vancouver Ford text line is just blowing up with ways that we can kill foliage.
See, this is what
Mm.
the text line does. They're problem solvers for us. I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm trying to help.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
trying to help.
Well, I have
Just give me
won.
that phone. I'll call your wife. And
I
be
have
like,
won the battle. We are going to rip the deck out, and we're going to concrete the backyard.
Ooh, all right.
So-
all right. Wait, the backyard?
Like not the entire backyard, but
It's
like
what are you can open up a skate park back
no,
there.
yeah, a little half pipe, quarter pipe. It's my new life. No, we have a
Skater die.
it's like a 20 by 20 deck. It's massive. It's absolutely enormous. It's got a hot tub. It's elevated and
Yeah.
stuff. But we're gonna rip all of that out
Why would you do that?
because the deck is falling apart because they didn't treat it
Mhm.
properly. So the wood's nasty, and they painted it with wood or with paint that's not used for what it was. So it has to come out.
Gotcha.
It looks like
Okay.
hell.
But you're not going to redeck, huh?
No, we're gonna put a concrete pad, do a little bit more modern. So hey, if you're a company out there and you're listening,
You're
you know,
just trying to concrete Danny's backyard.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do
may
it.
or may not be paving over bodies.
Okay. Again.
Good luck finding them.
Again.
Concrete.
All right. We got sports show today. Well, sometimes sports show. We may pivot to lawn and garden again. Who knows? Who knows? We got a lot. We got a lot of really good feedback coming in here.
It's true.
On the
Be a
Vancouver
lawn and
Ford
garden
text
show
line.
today.
Yeah, probably not. But we've got some sports. Basketball is basketballing. We got some football. Just came in. The largest spring games in the country have been attendance-wise unveiled. Huh?
I'm gonna guess Oregon State wasn't there.
Wow.
They were not.
Okay.
They were not. That was a low blow.
Low blow. Cheap shot.
Low blow. But some familiar names. Won't be surprised to see which ones came on top. So we'll have that today. We got some news out of the NCAA. It's getting a little hairy there for the NCAA, which could very well. I mean, we've said this before, but this really could be some news that came out today. The NCAA could cease to exist moving forward.
That's a shame.
It
You
really you
hate to see it.
You hate to see it. But there's for everybody that hates the NCAA, this could have wide-ranging impacts on all the other sports besides football and basketball. Football and men's basketball.
There you go.
Everything else, we could see a full-on landscape shift in
Like a good landscape shave.
how college athletics operate. So we got that to get to, but where we got to start this bad boy off, we now have 3 teams that have punched their tickets to the conference semifinals. But the story might be not how great Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and Denver have played. It's the teams that aren't. That's where we start. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. All right, last night we saw two teams sent home packing, Cancun or Galveston. That later in the show.
Indeed.
The Oklahoma City Thunder finished off the New Orleans Pelicans 97-89. Sweep City.
Out with but a whimper.
And then in the nightcap on TNT, you had the Denver Nuggets finish off the Los Angeles Lakers 108-106.
Difference of 2 seconds, the game clock and the shot clock.
Worst case scenario, we're going to overtime.
Jokic a screen, Murray to try to break the tie.
No timeout by the Lakers. They got to go.
James, a bump, a feed, a punch shot. No! Zero's on the clock. The Nuggets advance.
Jamal Murray does it again. Another game winner for Jamal Murray as the Lakers bow out of the playoffs 4-1. The gentleman's sweep.
Indeed. Which, congratulations, Lakers. You managed to get one win off the Nuggets in 13 games.
I think pretty clear now, too. Jamal Murray, the best player in the league, to have never made an all-star team.
Yeah, I think it's
Right
pretty easy. It's also
A lot of that's because, the West has been so guard-heavy for
not just
so
that.
long.
His regular season performances aren't good.
No.
Like that's he averages like 17 and 6.
He's like a Kurt Schilling.
Just turns it on.
He's just Kurt Schilling of basketball.
Minus the right wing stuff.
I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to step on his toes.
I
We
don't
didn't
wanna
know that
speak for
about
Jamal Murray.
We didn't know that about Kurt Schilling when he had the bloody sock. All right, so Jamal Murray, he's got plenty of time to let that come out, and that's his choice. He is Canadian, though.
Yes, he is Canadian.
He is Canadian.
Also has a
So
dumb
probably
nickname.
a nice guy.
He's what?
Has a dumb nickname.
What's his nickname?
Blue Arrow.
That is very dumb.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Dumb da dum dum dum.
Why is he the Blue Arrow?
Like, that's a terrible DC Comics character.
The Green Arrow knockoff.
Yeah. Wait, Green Arrow is a thing?
Yeah, Green Arrow's a DC comic.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Well,
that
I
was
knew-
good by you.
Well, I knew there was Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it Blue Arrow?
I-
Just to be.
People
Sure.
are dumb.
He played for Kentucky, and he shoots from deep. Yeah, it's dumb.
It's
I
yeah.
got
Don't do
nothing.
that. Don't
It's
do
dumb.
that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Real quick note on the Thunder Pelican series.
Sure.
Brandon Ingram went out super sad. 2 of 14. 2
Ouch.
of 14.
You know, I read this today, and I was very surprised. You know Zion Williamson?
Mhm.
You know who he is?
Yeah.
He is the only lottery pick from the 2019 draft to have never played in a playoff game. The only lottery pick from the 2019 draft that has not played in a playoff game. Zion Williamson. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it was a pretty decent draft, but not great. Yeah, you have so PJ Washington obviously this year with
Yes.
Dallas,
Yes.
Harrow,
Yes.
Langford must have with Boston early on. Cam Johnson with the Suns, Cam Reddish with the Lakers, Rui with the Lakers, Kobe White. They made the playoffs with the Bulls. They did play in game, but did they make the
last year?
No, because they lost
No?
to
2
Miami.
years ago?
So it must have been then. Jarrett Culver is an interesting one.
What's a Jarrett Culver?
Yeah, a really bad pick. Really bad pick.
Well,
Garland for sure.
Good enough to
DeAndre
make the
Hunter. The
playoffs.
Hawks made the run. Barrett must have done it with the Knicks there. And then obviously John and Zion.
Kobe
Wow.
White, 2021-22. He
Oh, the
played
Bulls
in
did make it.
5 games.
Yeah, there you go.
In the playoffs.
Okay. So yeah. A lot of like bad, not great picks for, Jackson Hayes obviously with the Pels and the Lakers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. A lot of these are Lakers. Jackson Hayes, Rui, Cam. Like that's
Well, yeah, but
collecting broken Infinity Stones.
yeah. I can't find Culvert in what playoff series he was in.
I think Neil Olshey's ears just perked up.
Yeah, no,
He's like,
redraft candidate, 100%.
Excuse me.
He must have gotten on the floor for Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah, Memphis in 21-22.
All right, yeah. Zion Williamson, only 2019 lottery pick
Huh.
to not make the playoffs or appear in the playoffs. His teams have. He has not.
Here's a crazy thing. Jarrett Culver, 144 games he's played in.
Mhm.
Zion Williamson, 184. 40 more games. Twice as many minutes, but 40 more games. That's it. Which, you look at most games played in that class. Grant Williams, 364, twice as many as Zion.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Brandon Ingram, he's probably gone.
If
in
I
New
was going
Orleans.
to bet money on any quote-unquote star being traded this summer, it's him.
Okay, now that leads us to a poll question that we have up at Danny and Dusty on social medias here. Which team has been the most disappointing in the playoffs this season? We are giving you 4 selections, 2 which have already been eliminated, 2 which are on the brink of elimination, and we could see them doing their 1-2-3 Cancun tonight. You have the Suns, which are out-bounced by the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Lakers, which got bounced last night by the Denver Nuggets, the 76ers, which play in Madison Square Garden tonight with a 3-1 hole to the Knicks, and then the Milwaukee Bucks, which are facing elimination against the Indiana Pacers in Milwaukee.
It is a runaway so far.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Suns.
Suns.
By staggering margins.
Yeah.
I think with the Bucks, you can go, yeah, they're injured. Like, is it disappointing? Sure. But Dame and Giannis healthy, I still think they run through Indiana.
But, okay.
Even after the regular season, I think you run through them.
I think that this is one where you look at and you go, absolutely. The Phoenix Suns, when you have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker,
look like a corpse.
Kevin Durant, you are a playoff team that you should make a run. But when I look at what they did during the regular season, I sit there and I go, why should there have been expectations on this team with how beat up they were? And then when they finally got together in those few games, like really, it was less than 30 games, or
They
it
played
was
about 40 together.
Just over, yeah.
Yeah, like 42, I think is how many games they played together.
So barely half the year,
season.
and you were sitting there going, this looks clunky. It doesn't look
I mean,
right.
they had a decent, I think they were, when they are all together, I think they had like a 64% winning percentage, which is good. It's
But
really
we
good.
never really saw.
Yeah. But you didn't, in game 4, when they get swept, Book and KD combined, I believe, for 84 points and 11 assists, and they still couldn't win. So it lets you know the Beal trade was a disaster. Nurk, I think he played 14 of 48 fourth quarter minutes in the series. So he wasn't on the floor in the fourth quarter. Basically, every move they made was bad.
Yes. You know who they could have used?
Grayson Allen being hurt actually hurt them.
Yeah.
Like,
They could have used like a Tumani Kamara type.
and a DeAndre Ayton.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was just untenable relationship wise. But
yeah.
the Suns, like anybody pitching Laker propaganda works at the 4-letter and either lives in LA or lives in New York. Nobody in their right mind. It was like, well, it was the most competitive gentleman's sweep. Brother in Christ, they've lost 12 of 13 to that team.
Well, and it was like
The only other people to say it was a competitive gentleman sweep are Trailblazers fans.
No, that was a sweep.
the idea
The
that
Warriors was a sweep.
the idea that you have the Lakers and they popped the graphic up and like it was sad
Time
to
led.
see the running clock where it was like 142 minutes in 48 seconds. Like the amount that they led during that series, people were like, see?
It just meant the Nuggets could just turn it on.
Those people have obviously never seen the Denver Nuggets play a playoff game because that is what they do. Like I said it on Twitter last night. They Rocky Balboa it. Like they just get their face beat in for 3 quarters and they're like, all right, time to go.
Yeah.
And that
One 8-minute spurt. That's it.
but that is what they do. That's what they did last year in the playoffs. That is how they operate, and that's where they feel the most comfortable because every other team feels wildly uncomfortable playing that way.
Yeah, and the thing is, the KD Warriors skewed our brains of like what playoff domination looks like
Absolutely.
because you just mop the floor with everybody, and you're like, see, that's domination. No, that's heresy. Like that's not supposed that group is not supposed to ever be on the court together.
Yeah.
This is what normal dominance looks like. It's a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. Like you looked at what LeBron did last night. LeBron finishes last night with 30, 11, and 9 with 4 steals, shooting above 50% from the field, 40% from 3. You cannot ask more from an in-prime star in their 20s, and the man is 39.
LeBron James.
Indeed. And you probably saw the end of this Lakers era last night. And the Nuggets made it look easy.
I love Los Angeles.
That's the insane thing. It was like, oh, it's so competitive. This is great basketball. Sure, it was to an extent, but it was like the Nuggets had it in cruise control, and all of a sudden they hit the hill, and they're like, fine. And they put the pedal down to get the RPMs up, and it's not like this miraculous thing. They're just doing things you expect them to do. Aaron Gordon grabbed an offensive rebound. Let me put on my shocked face. Oh, Jokic grabbed an offensive rebound and a putback and spun over 2 people and scored. Oh my God, I've never seen that before. Michael Porter Jr. hit clutch threes. Jamal Murray hit a clutch shot. Oh my God. I got to get out my pen and paper and go to the throwback days and put ink on paper because I've never seen. Oh, wait, I've seen this story a million times.
You know what team I think on this list probably deserves some more votes here? The Philadelphia 76ers. Because Joel Embiid is banged up. He is hurt. Dude is performing out of his gourd right now. Like, he is playing above what he should be doing. But the way that they were framed heading into this playoff run was that when Embiid is there, they are a title contender. They don't look anywhere close to a title contender. No. It is Joel Embiid, who looks amazing for being on one very large leg.
Yes.
And then Tyrese Maxey, who is doing stuff.
He's been really good.
But it's not like conducive to, like when you say Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., what those guys are doing
is just
in the clutch moments, the plays that they make that are winning plays, you're not seeing that from Tyrese Maxey. And you're not seeing it from anybody else.
Tobias Harris is a ghost.
And Nick Batum had a game.
Yeah, and this thing is, the scuttlebutt around the NBA is Paul George's contract not being signed yet and him possibly ending up in Philadelphia.
Okay, that would be very
like,
good.
If Joel Embiid has Paul George to lean on and Tyrese Maxey is your third guy and Tobias Harris is gone, that's a pretty nasty team if Embiid can stay healthy.
And then
that's
we have the Milwaukee Bucks on this poll as well, and they are currently in second place. 73% is the Phoenix Suns, which rightfully so. Yeah. Good on smart. We got a lot of smart folks.
Sure.
Voting on the Twitters. The Bucks are sitting here in second place with 19.2% of the vote so far. And the thing about Milwaukee that makes it so disappointing is the injuries, right? We knew that it would be a long road to hoe without Giannis Antetokounmpo. We weren't expecting Giannis to be back in this series, even though they kind of floated it early. It was like,
well, you got to put it out there because you got to have some kind of hope.
But then Dame goes down. And Dame, not going to be playing tonight.
I don't expect either of them. Even if they drag this out to 7, maybe if I squint.
And then you also have to take into consideration Chris Middleton keeps getting hurt, and he's playing. And he's playing.
Yeah.
You know, but the disappointing fact of that is we had high hopes and high expectations, but we're just unable to live up to them right now, which that leads to the question of how long is this runway for the Milwaukee Bucks?
I think it was always at least 2 years. 3's probably squinting.
3 is squinting because Brook Lopez long in the tooth.
Chris
Middleton long in the tooth. Dame long in the tooth. Like they're an older roster and they're not healthy and they're not holding up right now.
And they don't have the depth behind them to bolster it.
Yeah.
And that's something I think, even if those guys are healthy and I think they run through the playoffs, run into Boston, the question I always had was, without the depth, are they too old? And you look around the NBA right now, the teams that are going home are either very old, LA and Phoenix, or very young, New Orleans. Where you're seeing competitive balance is teams that have the mix, where it's Dallas and LA. And then Orlando, Cleveland. Orlando's just incredibly young. But you look at the Cavs, it's a good mix of guys in prime and younger. There's not a lot of old, and it's going to be very interesting to see not only what kind of comes out of the disappointments in the playoffs and who falls short, but what that roster mix looks like, because the LeBron, Chris Paul led CBAs prior to this one favored younger or older guys and older rosters. Those guys could continue to get paid and make big money. I think you might see a rollback on that, and I think you might see rosters go from being a little bit older to just a little bit younger, much like you see in the NFL now, where a lot of the better teams are a lot younger.
Well, keep voting. The poll is up at Danny Dusty on Twitter. You can also vote at 1080 The Fan on Twitter as well. You can text us on the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326 or be in the chats. YouTube.com/1080am The Fan or Twitch.tv/1080am The Fan. The Lakers, they may not be disappointing in this playoffs because of where expectations were, but they've got big questions to answer, especially when LeBron James takes the podium and says what he said after the game. First is Jeff Rust. And Colin Cowherd out on Jeff Rust. He's wearing a backwards hat with SportsCenter Update.
I'll take that. I'll wear that proudly.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter Update on 1080 The Fan.
Backwards hat, Jeff Rust here with your SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, 3 more games today in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Knicks have a 3-1 series lead hosting the 76ers. Joel Embiid missed morning shoot-around with a migraine and is questionable while also dealing with the knee injury. Kelly Oubre Jr. probable with an illness. Bojan Bogdanovic out for New York. Mitchell Robinson questionable. Jalen Brunson is probable. It's a 4 o'clock tip on TNT. The Knicks are 3.5-point favorites. 5 o'clock on NBA TV from Cleveland. Cavaliers and Magic tied at 2 games apiece. The Cavs are 4.5-point favorites. And in the nightcap, tipping around 6:30 on TNT, the Bucks down 3-1 hosting the Pacers. Neither Damian Lillard nor Giannis Antetokounmpo expected to play. Tyrese Halliburton questionable with lower back spasms. The Pacers are 4.5-point road favorites. Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard already ruled out with a knee injury for tomorrow's Game 5 against the Mavericks at Crypto.com Arena. That series tied at 2 games apiece. In the NFL, the Jaguars have released wide receiver Zay Jones just a few days after selecting LSU receiver Brian Thomas Jr. with the 23rd overall pick in the draft. The move will save about $4.5 million against the salary cap. And the Mariners have won 4 of their last 5. They host the Braves for the second of a 3-game set this evening. Luis Castillo gets the start opposite Reynaldo Lopez. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners have a 1-game lead over the Rangers for the American League West lead. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Save the date. The 10th annual Fan Golf Classic presented by Autotown GMC at Langdon Farms Golf Club will tee off on Thursday, July 11th. Keep it on the Fan for details.
no doubt about it, was the best player on the floor for the Los Angeles Lakers in their postseason, albeit short run.
Girl, you something else.
But what LeBron said last night after the game was the ultimate LeBron James taking the podium.
Indeed.
We saw the temper tantrums that he threw, stomping his feet,
In Game 3.
yelling at Darvin Ham. We've seen the blank stares on the bench. We've seen the daggers that he's staring through his teammates and his coach at various times throughout the course of the season. And this is just what we're used to with LeBron James. He is a superstar. He is a guy that commands a lot of attention.
Bandwidth.
By the front office, by his teammates, by his coaching staff. It's a lot when you have LeBron.
Yes.
He has gotten a lot of coaches fired over his career.
Got a lot of coaches hired, too.
Yeah, yes, Ty Lue. Ty Lue. But you have now the reports that Darvin Ham may be out as the Lakers head coach.
So the interesting thing about this was going into the game last night, it sounded like he was still safe. And then something changed, which if something changed, then he should have never been safe.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, you know, anytime I don't understand we'll give the coach one more year. Just get on with it.
Yeah, just get him out of there.
Like
and
for
let's not do this
everyone's
anymore.
sake. Like just, I've never understood that. Like, just make the move and get it done. Like, if you're gonna make the move, like, oh, you're gonna make it 10 games into the season and then fire him. Like, why?
Yeah.
Do you want to get like you want to work something out on a buyout here? Like, I don't understand that part of it. But the gross thing about this, both as it pertains to Woj and Shams, is that when both series ended, the Suns and Lakers, both newsbreakers had this might be the end for the coach. Like, as the series ends, it's like,
He goes,
come on, man.
Tweet fired off.
Yeah, it's like, which means they had the green light from front offices to do that. That's how that stuff works.
Or players.
Yeah,
LeBron.
and that's the thing about this. It's just stupid, and it's
Well,
Darvin's. I would say at this point in time, unless something significant changes, Darvin's gone.
Well, we did have LeBron James kind of show his cards too, because he knows the power that he has, and he was asked about his future.
Tonight, was there any thought at all that this could have been your last game with the Lakers?
I'm not going to answer that. Appreciate it.
Gives a wry smile, gets up, and his press conference was done after that.
Yeah, I think that's smart from him, genuinely.
He holds the cards.
Not only that, I think LeBron is a guy who's very tactical, very, 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 very intelligent. As much as he plays the dumb idiot with being on the page one of every book he's reading, he's very intelligent. He's a very smart, calculated, thoughtful person, particularly as it pertains to his basketball career and how he goes about things.
Every book you mean The Godfather.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it leather bound?
Yes.
Does his desk smell of rich mahogany?
It does.
Yeah.
But the thing about him is that he's not going to be caught in the moment. Like, to him acting like a child on the court and stomping his feet, the reason we're making such a big deal out of it is he doesn't do that. Like, that's not normal. Clearly, this is a guy, I think, if you're going to do the full armchair psychoanalyst, he's nearly 40 years old and he's struggling with the end.
Yeah.
I would say that that's where this is. Because right now, it's not just about him anymore. It's about playing with his son. Like, this, as much as he wants to have his business interests in LA and have a $50 million contract, is that a conducive environment for his son?
No.
Is to bring him into that organization, to have the spotlight be on him, and it not be about his son, but be about his father.
I found it very funny that almost immediately afterwards, the report started coming out after LeBron says that. It is, Lakers are open to drafting Bronny James. It's like, okay.
Which is something I've heard that they haven't been open to. So,
And with like all of these teams that have been hoarding second-round picks, right? Because second-round picks are cash in the new CBA and the NBA now. There's going to be a team with multiple twos that's like, I don't know, maybe we do it. Maybe we do it just to see if we.
I don't know if any team in the league is going to call that bluff. I don't know. That's been a question that I've heard.
I think it'd be awful for him for Bronny to enter the NBA and have his dad taking all that thunder.
Yeah.
And taking that
Particularly
limelight and adding
in LA.
that pressure. In LA, of course. but anywhere.
Yeah.
Period. I think it'd be really tough because like how do you build connections and bonds in the locker room when you're a second round pick? And Bronny James right now would be grinding to make a roster in the NBA.
He's probably on a two-way.
But you sit there and you go, how do you build relationships with other guys in the locker room when daddy is the next locker over? Or two lockers over, because all those stars have they have the
double.
blank space. Yeah. They have the blank locker in there. So 2 lockers over is your dad that everybody's just looking at like, we know why you're here.
Yeah.
It's because of your dad. That's really hard for a young player in the NBA to do. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. And like Austin Rivers is a great example of this, right? It's like in the league because of his dad. No, Austin Rivers actually carved a rollout for himself in the NBA
and it was
for multiple
distanced
years.
from his father. This, and not only that, this isn't a Ken Griffey Jr. senior situation where Ken Griffey Jr. was one of the top prospects in baseball. Like
and senior was holding on at the very end for it.
And he was a platoon player. He wasn't trying to be the centerpiece of the Seattle Mariners.
Quite literally the opposite
yes.
of junior and senior.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Where in that vein, it's probably easier.
Yes.
If LeBron James Jr. was the superstar that his father is, and his father was just the role player, and this was, let's say the hype engine is reversed. Like Bronny is actually LeBron James.
Yeah.
And we've been following him since he's 15, like we have, but he's the second coming of Michael Jordan. And he's stepping into this, and his dad's just hanging out, waiting. Being Kurt Thomas, Udonis Haslem, just come on, bud, get here. This is all easy.
Which is what people thought like 5 years ago when Bronny was coming up the AAU circuit. It was, LeBron's going to be 40 years old when he's a rookie. Can LeBron hang on long enough? Yeah.
He's probably got 4 more years in him, to be honest.
Yeah, he sure can right now.
It's amazing what all of that $1 million can spend on his body in the offseason can do.
That's right. And
truly.
Look, if you...
Just a hyperbaric chamber.
It may be buying Bronny enough time to pull his name out of the draft, transfer somewhere else, and maybe work into a player that is a more solid NBA player.
Do you want to go? You want to know what the conspiracy theory is?
Yeah, I love conspiracy theories.
The Philadelphia 76ers have all that cap space, so they could make a move, and they could draft Bronny, and stick him in the G League kind of a deal, two-way him, or Bronny transfers to Duquesne, where LeBron James's high school head coach is now the head coach.
And that's in
Pittsburgh. Which Pittsburgh to Philly? Not far.
Not far. Not as close as Cleveland though.
Just
LeBron back to Cleveland.
That's also another one that's there because the Cavaliers are in the market for a forward.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well,
but the tinfoil is tightening around the NBA. I still think the most likely thing is LeBron stays in LA and perhaps AD gets traded. If a move happens there, I think that's probably the one that I can see before LeBron leaving, because LeBron is entrenched, and it's not just the basketball. It's the multimedia stuff. It's generating money, because here's the thing. LeBron James is going to have a large ownership stake in the new franchise in Las Vegas. It's the worst kept secret in the NBA. And you know how you do that? You keep generating tens of millions of dollars that you can't generate otherwise. Him opting into the contract with the Lakers is what, $57 million?
Yeah.
Is he going to get that on the open market? The answer is no.
You don't think so?
No.
What do you think he maxes out at? If he were to get like a 3-year deal.
100.
3 years, $100 million, so $33 million a year.
Yeah. Whereas he could get the 56, 57 on this year and then go get 2 more years at probably 30 apiece.
Okay. That'll be interesting to see.
Unless he falls off a cliff after which is why you go get the 56 this year.
Yeah. All right. Well, decision time in LA. Yeah, I would hate to see the Lakers just fall on their face this
offseason. Be
terrible.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. It all ends up coming back to them like they did for 5 years, and then they got a title.
Shut up.
I know.
God.
Here, you want to feel gross for a second?
No.
I'm gonna let you feel gross. They have been to the Western Conference Finals, won a title, and lost to the eventual champion twice in the last 5 years. Would you take that as a Blazers fan? The answer is yes, unequivocally.
Yeah.
What they have done
Duh.
with LeBron and AD is not a failure. It is an unmitigated success.
Yeah, it 100% is.
That's the insane thing. Like, when you step away from all of this, that's the takeaway.
Yeah, he's the second best player to ever play in the NBA.
But I mean, the move made sense. And what their success over the last 5 seasons, play in or not, or missing the playoffs, it's 4 out of the 5 years they make the playoffs. One of the years they win the title. One of the years they go to the Western Conference Finals.
Can you just give me the fact that my son might not be a Laker fan next year and just say he's not going to go and play for the Lakers? Will you please do that? Because I got that out of my kid last night. I was like, are you still going to be a Laker fan if LeBron leaves? He's like, no. So he goes, there's the GOAT. And I said, do you know what GOAT means? He's like, no. I said, greatest of all time. He's like, oh, there's GOAT Jr. I've got him thinking Michael is better than LeBron.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we've ingrained that.
See, I think it's acceptable to call LeBron James the GOAT.
But no. I will not have it. Not in my home, Danny. Not in my home. But
that's actually one of the things I don't fight over, is if you're a LeBron guy or a Jordan guy.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's really no wrong answer.
No, that one to me is like, I'm like,
when he plays for the Cavs or the Heat or anywhere but the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like the Lakers.
Okay, fair. Totally fair.
All right. Thank you for stealing my joy.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. The NFL draft is in the rear view mirror. Do we have a new football hotbed next on the Fan? State produced the most selections in the NFL draft this year?
Which state produced the most selections?
Yeah.
Virginia.
Oh, wow. No, that was a wild guess.
I thought completely out of the box.
Virginia had one pick.
Oh, okay.
One selection.
There you go.
No, it'd be easy. It's Florida.
Okay, I was wondering if
Yeah.
it was something different.
Florida with 30, Texas with 24,
Mhm.
Georgia, 23 selections. Georgia has been a recruiting hotbed in high school for over a decade now.
A bajillion years now.
And it used to be your top states were Texas, Florida, California, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And it is the landscape is changing in that regard because it goes Florida, Texas, Georgia with 23, and then California with 18.
That's a big time down here.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Get it together.
Football out west but Arizona and Nevada have kind of been creeping up a little bit thanks to like Bishop Gorman and all those
Compass Prep.
Scottsdale schools.
Yeah.
I mean, Compass doesn't have football.
Are they
They're just
basketball only?
Yeah,
God.
yeah. They have just powerhouses like all over the place
Scottsdale,
around Scottsdale area. But outside of that, the next state, it was a little bit of a surprise to me. New Jersey, 11.
That's super weird.
11 picks out of New
the
Jersey.
Northeast is not a football place. Like, they do not care about college football in any way, shape, matter, or form. Like college sports in general, outside of Big East basketball, does not exist to them.
Yeah,
and even football, it's a weird place, man. Like people are Giants and Jets fans, but they're not that deep into the weeds. Like it's super weird.
Jersey is the only exception to like the entire, like if you go more northeast than Jersey, like because Penn State, that's where Joe Paterno like built Penn State football, was in Jersey and in Maryland too. Well, obviously the state of Pennsylvania, but he dipped into Jersey, and some of his best players came out of New Jersey. But had them having 11 being tied with Louisiana, I mean, that is where you sit there and you're like, huh. That's
that is
a little odd.
That is an interesting one because I mean, look, you know that you go get your size from the South. You get your speed from California and Florida. Texas, you get your
everything.
Mix, your everything.
Get everything.
Yeah. What guys are coming out of New Jersey?
I can look that up for you right now. New Jersey.
I have a hard time believing many linemen are coming out of Jersey, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's a pretty good mix.
Yeah?
Yeah, Caden Wallace, who's third-round pick offensive lineman. I mean, no real, like, big-time names that came out of there. Ray Davis, Audric Estime, C.J. Hansen, Javante Jean-Baptiste.
Sound like a lot of smaller guys.
Sanusi Kane, Mohamed Kamara, Devin Leary, Christian McConaughey, Max Melton, and Tareeb Still. I mean, it's a little bit of mix of skills in linemen.
But you're not getting the 6'6", 340-pound guy out of there.
Well, Caden Wallace would be that guy. I mean,
he's a massive human.
He's a humongous human being. But Pennsylvania and Ohio kind of taken a little bit of a step back.
Where were they at in this?
Pennsylvania 6.
Wow.
6 out of Pennsylvania, 10 out of Ohio. Oregon had 2. Both of them Oregon State Beavers, Anthony Gould and Ketan Oladapo.
They're both local guys?
Yeah. Oladapo went to Central Catholic. Gould went to West Salem. I don't think he went there for a year, though.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Oladapo was a local guy.
Yep. Central Catholic Chi. He's one of those Anthony Newman kids.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know? Anthony Newman pumping out those NFL
DBs.
players.
Yep.
Dude. His list is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's going to get even longer because he's got like 2 or 3 on Westland's defense that are going to be really good. Really good.
It's helpful. It's helpful to have that kind of coaching.
Well, yeah, and Alex Molden has another son coming up who's really stinking good.
It's almost like genetics matter.
He's a puppy. He's like a sophomore. Yeah. But Oregon with 2 draftees tying Washington, the state of Washington.
Wow, that's a disappointment.
Well, only having 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did okay with having like 9 other guys drafted though. At UW.
UW. Yeah. No, that's fair. It is interesting the way people are. I think this is kind of it's a shift in the sense of like you have to go. This is like Gonzaga going to Japan and Iceland and Finland and Australia. Like you have to grow your footprint. You have to be willing to go. I kind of rolled my eyes when Lincoln Riley said it when he lost some guys out of California's backyard, but their recruiting style since in the last couple months has backed it up. Of like, we don't just want to keep our footprint in California. Like, yeah, we do want to keep the best players here, but we want to grab the best players in the country. And whether or not they get to that point remains to be seen. But I think that's kind of where this is headed for the top guys, which I was looking at a stat. There was 4 and 5 stars made up like 94% of the entire draft.
Yes.
It was an insane number.
I think it's mostly I think I saw that too. 3 stars they have a big volume of them just because there's very few 5-star recruits every year. There's more now than there were before, but 5 stars there's not that many of them. 4 stars there are a lot more, and a lot of those guys do get drafted.
But those
it's crazy.
if you're not one of those guys, the likelihood of you making it to the NFL is non-existent.
Very well. I mean, it's not. It's not.
No, I mean as far as a percentage wise, it's not impossible.
Oh, the percentages
of
3
like
stars.
Yeah, it's not. You're literally 1 out of 5,000.
Yeah, because there's just everybody else is just like a 3-star
or not rated.
A 2-star. You know, you're just not getting much traction there. But I thought that was interesting. Georgia on the come up still. Florida, Texas, Kings. Georgia nipping on their heels. And that's something that you go, why do you go outside of the footprint of the West? Like you were saying with USC, you have to build. And now with
especially if you want the trenches, you have to recruit yourself.
In conferences now being coast to coast, everything every game being televised, you don't have to just put the fence around your backyard and say this is how we build.
Yeah.
You have got to be national in your recruiting. And it is smart that Lincoln Riley is doing that because that's the only way that you build a true contender anymore, unless the Khalils keep on having kids.
Which
then USC will be okay.
Yeah.
But they haven't had some come through.
No, we haven't had a Khalil or a Matthews in a while.
It's gonna
need one of those.
Really, really taking a tumble since they stopped
need the
breeding for
bloodlines
a while.
to stock up a little bit.
But if you look at all the rosters across college football, even the Alabamas, Georgias, they're not just built with guys from Alabama and Georgia anymore. They're going to California, they're going into Texas, they're going all over the country, and recruiting has made it more accessible because all film is on Huddle, and you can pull up game film on any prospect across the country and have instant access to it. It's very odd how the landscape has changed that much because, there was a run where guys were just moving to California or moving, to Texas or IMG Academy down in Florida because that's the only way that they were going to get seen and noticed. Well, now you can get noticed no matter really where you are. I mean, that's not stopping the IMG Academies or Mater Days from being football powerhouses still, but you're seeing that talent distribution is being spread out in different places now. It's really interesting. And the state of Oregon, 2 draftees.
Not too bad.
Not too shabby.
Considering the participation levels, yeah. I'll take that.
You've got the West as opposed to the South. Big difference.
Yeah.
30 out of Florida, 23 out of Georgia, 10 out of Alabama, 5 from Mississippi, which is a small state population-wise, 11 out of Louisiana. The entire West Coast had 24.
Yeah, I wonder what that looks like charted out year over year. How much this is up or down. Or if there's any kind of trends there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. The NCAA could be seeing a landscape shift or maybe the death of the NCAA. What the Big Ten and SEC are proposing next on The Fan. Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours, whether it's on 1080, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, youtube.com/1080am The Fan, or twitch.tv/1080am The Fan. Thanks for partying with us. The NCAA, death to the NCAA could be coming. We saw this pop up late last night, and then earlier this morning, the stories started to flood in. The SEC and the Big Ten are really the ones leading the charge on kind of reshaping how college sports are going to be played. We already knew that through conference realignment, but right now we heard Jim Harbaugh, remember last year, he kept saying it, I think like 3 or 4 times, that revenue sharing should be a part of college football. Players should get a piece of the revenues that are coming in. Well, there is a proposal there that they are calling the modern model, where they would not only share the revenue with their players, but help the NCAA get out of lawsuits that they are currently facing. NCAA versus House, Eddie House, is the center of a class action lawsuit against the NCAA that is set for trial in January of next year. And basically what they're looking for is they want their piece of the action for over 7,000 student athletes that could get money based off their name, image, and likeness over decades of the NCAA's existence. If that does go to trial and they do win, which many people do expect them to win, the NCAA, there's reports out there that says that the NCAA could be on the hook for $4.2 billion. $4.2 billion.
Yeah, that's what happens when you F around and exploit workers for decades.
Yeah, that's a big issue that they could have. And look, the NCAA gets money hand over fist every year, but they are a party planning committee that spends a lot of money on every other sport. You think of every NCAA championship across every single level, right? Division I, Division II, Division III, men's and women's sports alike. All of the money that comes in, it goes out very quickly. And so $4.2 billion a year, sure, that does come in. But the NCAA, in order to sustain all the other sports, that's going to be impossible. And the NCAA could cease to exist if NCAA versus House goes against the NCAA.
The thing about this is, and I, with respect to what you're saying, I totally understand what you're saying as far as how they use their revenue. I would venture to guess that if you get to the books, there's a lot of waste in there, and there's a lot of fat, and there's a lot of people who got very rich off the back of these players. And
absolutely,
that's where I think the judge is going to go, welp, better get some private equity then.
Well, it'd be a jury to do it.
Well,
and look, the NCAA would just fold. The NCAA would just fold and just be like,
which is what
I have no other option. And look, everybody says the NCAA is corrupt and they're poorly run. Those things are true, but you rip that away. Every other sport outside of football and basketball gets ripped to the studs, and a lot of them cease to exist.
Number one, I don't want to see that, but I think it might require, I think where we're at might require the NCAA going away, or this version of the NCAA as we know it, as in they no longer touch anything else. And the only thing that they handle is the money set aside by those institutions that make the money, i.e. football and men's basketball. And if women's basketball keeps growing and that becomes a revenue generator over the next decade or so, them as well. But only thing they do is they party plan.
They do.
They don't manage anything. They don't get payouts. They don't get commissioners that make tens of millions of dollars. That stuff goes away. The corporate money laundering that the NCAA firm basically was for 40 years ceases to exist in every facet.
Yeah. And look, the conferences they're all separate, and that's what it may come down to, is that every conference has to operate on its own for if the NCAA does lose this. But what the modern model that the Big Ten and SEC are spearheading right now is to try and get out ahead of it and say, hey, these old days are gone, and this is all we can do moving forward is we can be better moving forward. And what they're saying is that they're looking at $15 to $20 million per school. That is what they're looking at right now to be part of the revenue share. And that's a big chunk of change for a lot of universities. Like you said, though, I think what it'll force teams to do or universities to do is spend their money more wisely and trim the fat on whether it's conference commissioners or other sports, if we're being quite honest.
And that's what I don't want to see. I want to see if the jury here finds that, and I think they will. I think they will find in favor of the plaintiff here. I genuinely do, because the evidence we all know is overwhelming and astounding against the NCAA. It just is, especially with the way legislation has headed over the past 36 months.
Yeah, but it will be interesting to see kind of legally how it holds up to how much the NCAA is on the hook for, because of the fact that NIL laws and rules didn't exist before a handful of years ago. So you're trying to go 40 years ago, we were operating under a completely different set of rules, and now you want to hold us accountable because things have changed now, and that's going to be the hard part.
The legality of that's the thing is,
and it doesn't make what the NCAA did right.
And that's the thing is, everybody knows that what the NCAA was doing was protecting their own ass.
Yeah,
to generate their own money, and in sense, because this is an antitrust case, it can go back retroactively, and that's why they could have a settlement that pays out those past players.
There are a lot of sports lawyers and corporate lawyers that do say that the NCAA is up against it right now.
There's just not a way out.
And this will be really interesting to see if they can get the lawyers to say, all right, you guys, moving forward, you guys have done enough. We're not going to completely cripple the NCAA and make it an entity that cannot exist anymore. You guys are going to have to pay your penance, but it won't be $4.2 billion.
I think it could be a number that big, but it's paid out over decades.
Yeah.
It gets put into a trust and managed that fast.
Well,
I think
this is going to be interesting.
This
is
like,
a pivot point.
This is like a legal ruling where you life with parole. This is kind of what this is. It's like you get to live, but the way that you live and how you live is going to be vastly different and incredibly regulated.
It should be.
Yes.
Because the way the NCAA operated with their arbitrary,
make it up as you go, fly by the seat of
rulings
your pants.
and hammering some schools, but letting other ones skate, sitting there in whatever you picked and choose
looking at
to
you, Mark
smash
Emmert.
a school for. But, Emmert gets all of the hate. The university presidents are the ones to blame. Mark Emmert is a figurehead because every one of those, like, they have like all of their different subcommittees, right? And when you have the rules committee that's out there, that's handing down punishments to universities, the people sitting on those are not Mark Emmert. It's university presidents, university athletic directors, conference commissioners. Those are the ones. So, like, everything that the NCAA made itself into was made into by university presidents,
which are people that have no idea about athletics.
It's across Division III all the way up to Division I. So, like, you quite literally would have a case where a student athlete took some money and you had Division III or Division II presidents, ADs, admins that are ruling on a life they don't know about. Even if they are in athletics, like, it's a completely different world being in the FBS as opposed to D2 or D3. Yes. And they've changed a lot of the way that these infractions committees and rules committees have operated over the last handful of years. And just like Larry Scott, just like George Kliavkoff, Mark Emmert does deserve a bunch of the blame because he couldn't get everybody on the same page. But just as the Pac-12 was an S show because of the university presidents, so is the NCAA here.
You
And
will not
that's the
convince
hard
me.
part.
As much as you hate the Lakers, I hate Mark Emmert. This is great from the Vancouver Ford text line. The irony of the NCAA being punished retroactively would be beautiful because it's exactly what they did to those schools for years.
Yes.
Like vacating wins.
Yep.
What?
It does nothing.
What?
It does nothing.
What are we
know.
doing?
But that's the only power that they have now is to vacate their wins
And
because they
good.
control record books.
Take that away too. Take
They
that away
should.
too.
That's the dumbest penalty.
Just
of all.
rip everything. Like leave them just standing there in their underwear and go. Go full Game of Thrones.
You guys
shame march them through the square.
You guys remember when Louisville didn't win the national title?
Yeah, oh my God. Ugh. Or USC didn't win a national title?
They didn't.
Or I don't know, a Heisman Trophy? God.
Well, that's the Heisman Trust you can be upset at too.
Yes, real quick, did you see the video?
They got it back
of
now, though.
Reggie walking into the Heisman Trust building and them all applauding and cheering. Yes, welcome back. You did this, you freaking monsters!
Yeah, they
Hey,
did.
we're all trying to find the guy that did this.
I was so livid when I saw
No.
that. I was like, are you kidding me right now? No, you sit there quietly with your head between your legs while he walks around and laughs at you. You old dumb people.
Between the legs, is that where the head was at?
Yes, I was being nice.
So they should have booed him.
No,
They should have booed him
just
on the
shut
way
up
in.
and put your head down.
Boo! You don't deserve this trophy.
No business celebrating and welcoming him back.
God, why?
You're the ones who did it.
Reinstated it?
Good God.
I mean, some of those people may be dead that took it away from him.
Probably.
It's like the judge standing outside a jail cell for a wrongly convicted felon. Hey, really happy for you, bud. Great job. Great job today.
Those dead ones, did OJ kill them too?
Yeah.
The evidence was against him.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
The glove didn't fit.
So dumb. Absolutely hate it. Video made me viscerally angry.
That's not. You know what? It's never going to change. Archie Griffin, no longer the two-time Heisman Trophy winner. Reggie Bush got it twice.
There you go.
He's got it twice.
You're not wrong.
He won it, took it away.
Also, the only one
Got it back.
to ever get it 20 years apart.
That's right. That's right. Super senior. That Reggie
COVID
Bush
ain't got
is-
nothing on this.
See, it would have been great if Reggie Bush just walked into that ceremony and just went,
I got a lot of problems with you people.
airing of grievances, just going all Festivus on him.
I would have supported every last second of it.
Oh man.
It's a shame Mark Emmert isn't here to tell him to go to hell.
Yeah. You really?
he died?
No, I mean in the room.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's here.
And then show up at his hater's funeral.
Yikes. Tell me how you really feel, Danny.
Give me about 30 seconds and I will.
I think we already heard. I think you made it pretty clear where you stand on this Reggie Bush situation.
You have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. 503-864-6326. That's a Vancouver Ford text line. We roll on next. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Times aren't good at the University of Colorado right now. Coming off a 4-8 season. And we have 24 players entering the portal for Colorado? I think that's what they're up to. 24 players in the portal.
Seems like a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot. But that's the way Dion wants to build his roster, even though a lot of the guys that have entered the portal have been highly touted recruits. One guy is not a highly touted recruit. His name is Xavier Smith. And The Athletic did a write-up on Xavier Smith and kind of Colorado's transfer portal. What happens to the guys that enter the portal on the way out? And there's a couple quotes in the Athletic tweet that accompanied the article where Smith says, I was actually getting mad, like tears coming to my eyes because, bro, you never even tried to get to know me, talking about his relationship with Deion Sanders. Saying he was destroying guys' confidence and their belief in themselves. The way he did it, it could have been done with a little more compassion. Just a couple of a taste of what was said by a former player who went through it. And look, for people that think that when you are on a football team, you're just going to have a great relationship with your head coach and that everything is going to be rosy and he's going to be your mentor for years and forever. Most of the time, that's not the case.
No.
Like, most of the time, guys will talk to the head coach during the recruiting process. You'll talk to him when he gets on campus quite a bit. But after that, your relationship is with your position coach and your coordinator. And oftentimes, if you're talking to the head coach, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you have those...
Unless you're the quarterback. That's just the nature of the beast.
You have those fleeting conversations and, you know, you're cordial with your head coach or whatever, but your real relationships are with your position coaches and your coordinators because those are guys you are with all the time.
How many people do you think the young athlete, when they, prior to the portal period, a big-name coach would come in the house and they would think, I'm playing for this coach.
Oh, yeah. It's a big deal.
And it's because you think of your high school coach, because the relationship you have with your high school coach. Your coach knows you, knows your parents. He's probably known about you coming up for years and
teaches you.
Yeah, and you probably have a class with him, you know. That's not college.
Yeah, and the exception is that if you're really, 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 really good, then they love you. But it really is not that. And some coaches do have those relationships, and some players do have those relationships with those coaches. But
those are few and far between.
Yeah, it's not the reality of what most of college football is. So in that vein, I kind of give Dion a little bit of grace there, especially when he's overhauling a roster that was absolutely dreadful when he first stepped in.
And he made no bones about what he was coming. Like, he did not hide behind the facade of, oh, we'll see what we have here. No, the man came in and said, we got Louis, and you better get to step in.
But there is another step to this where I understand when you're on one of those teams, you become defensive when you see an article like this written. But Shedeur Sanders, son of Dion, he's got a good relationship with the head coach, unless he's ranked 4th out of the Suns voting.
Yeah, I mean, he gets put in the kid voting, and you can fall off real quick.
Shedeur Sanders quote tweeted that Athletics article and said, I don't even remember him, to be honest. Bro had to be very mid at best. That is opening up the floodgates. And now people are just roasting Shedeur Sanders because, look, the guy leaves and enters the portal, and you go 4-8, and you go 1-8 in conference play. You probably shouldn't be calling people mid, right? You probably shouldn't be opening up, especially when you're trying to establish yourself as a leader on a team and a leader of men in a locker room where there are projections that Shedeur Sanders could possibly be the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft. Doubt it. But there is some people who project Shedeur to be, at the very least, a 1st or 2nd round pick in next year's NFL draft. And do we remember what was said about Spencer Rattler this weekend when he was a guy that came in as a 5-star, highly touted prospect to Oklahoma and ended up at South Carolina, and there was 123 selections in between him and Bo Nix, who was the 6th quarterback drafted in the draft. This is what Ian Rappaport said about Spencer Rattler.
That is some of the issue. The ceiling for Spencer Rattler. Teams really wondered, can this guy be a long-time or even short-time starter? Is he going to be a career backup? I want to go through some of the teams that did work and visited with him who might have a needed backup quarterback. Texans, Seahawks, Colts, of course, have Flacco. Giants did not end up taking the quarterback. The Raiders, of course, did not. The Packers as well. But I want to mention something in addition to this. And this is kind of weird to say, honestly. Spencer Rattler did a reality show in high school. It's called QB1 Beyond the Lights. It did not make him look great. And it is unbelievable how many different teams mentioned to me the image of him in that show and how they can't get it out of their heads, which I think would be a public service announcement to all 17-year-olds. But it is fascinating as teams weigh whether or not to draft him.
That's a guy who he was 17 when he did that quarterback
And
show.
he looked like
QB1.
an arrogant douche.
And yes, he is now 23 years old, 6 years later.
Good God.
And that stuck with him through the draft process.
I mean,
And
not that you can't change, and not that you especially won't change from that age to that age. You will change a ton. But there is a certain makeup that I think that teams are looking for. And quarterback prima donna, it's second to wide receiver. That's in prima donna rankings. It's the wide receivers, the absolutely crazy. The quarterbacks, the crazy's a little bit more subdued, but the prima donna maybe amplified a bit more. But there's that makeup that you look for even when they're young, to be a bit more poised, to be a bit more locked in than their peers. That's the whole point of being the leader. And if you see that early on, that impression, fair or not, does linger because of the expectations that come with that position and that privilege.
Shedeur Sanders firing off a tweet.
Yes.
I don't even remember him, to be honest.
Bro
had to be very mid. Talking about a former teammate.
That's going to come up on his NFL draft day. That's going to come up.
And it may be one of several things because the finger pointing that has been coming out of the Colorado program. And I've said this so many times. I hope Deion does it different and is successful. But this right here, how many quarterbacks in the NFL or high level, any of the guys that were drafted, have those tweets that are out there?
None. Not one.
Not a single one.
Not even Caleb, who has his own weirdness.
All of the quarterbacks.
Jaden Daniels has all of the early baggage and doesn't have that.
There have been guys who have had, I don't know, tweets resurface. Was it Josh Allen who was tweeting out rap lyrics when he was in
high school,
middle school or high school? Yeah. You had Mitchell Trubisky with the I don't even think I can say what his tweet was on here, but he liked a certain anatomy a lot, and he tweeted that out when he was in high school. But teams will justify and overlook that, not the bashing of a teammate. There's
immaturity versus
the football side of things.
And I think that's the spot that becomes the separator of like, not great.
That will be interesting to kind of see how NFL teams kind of navigate. And look, part of Shedeur is like what Caleb Williams and the knocks on Caleb Williams are. Dude, he's like a Gen Zer quarterback who lives on social media, who it's normal to call people out on social media. That's the way that they grew up. It's not the way that any of these GMs grew up. It's not the way any of the head coaches grew up, but it's the way that they did. And it'll be interesting to see how that is navigated as the draft process kind of goes through in the next evolution of prospects that come up and come through. Because sure, if a receiver has a tweet like that, you're like, yeah, I get it.
Eccentric, weird wide receiver.
Probably. A corner has that. Yeah.
You've seen the chart,
like,
right?
Yeah,
that breaks down like how how positions tweet.
No.
It's the gist of it is like quarterback's like, yeah, all right, great job, team. Tight end is like derpy, derp, derp, derp. Wide receiver is walk silently and carry a knife behind you, for you have many enemies.
That's right.
Like that's it goes through like the different levels of tweets versus for like the position that you play. And it's like, yeah, that's it. And if you get outside of what George Kittle, Travis Kelce tweet something derpy, it's like, yeah, big meathead derps. Like that's.
Yep.
But when you get out, that's what I was saying. Like the framing of it, the expectations that come with that position and that privilege mean you can't throw guys under the bus. And if you do, they better be absolute dirtbags that you can be like, well, here's the real deal. He's Aaron Hernandez, and he was killing people.
Like this text says, not to mention the IG post mid-game during a game where they blew a large lead at halftime.
And look, being a dummy is far more forgivable and easy to forgive than being an ass.
Yes. Seriously, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, Charles Barkley, dummy, not an ass. Coming up next for our worst day on the web. But first, here's a big Gooner with a Sports Center update.
I hear they got some tasty burgers.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.95 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, 3 more games today in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Knicks hold a 3-1 series lead hosting the 76ers. Joel Embiid missed morning shoot-around with a migraine. He is questionable, also dealing with a knee injury. Kelly Oubre Jr. probable after missing shoot-around with an illness. Bojan Bogdanovic out for New York. He'll have season-ending surgeries on his foot and wrist. Mitchell Robinson is questionable. Jalen Brunson probable. 4 o'clock tip on TNT. The Knicks are 3.5-point favorites. Then at 5 o'clock on NBA TV from Cleveland, the Cavaliers and Magic tied at 2 games apiece. The Cavs are 4.5-point favorites in the nightcap, tipping around 6:30 on TNT. The Bucks down 3-1, hosting the Pacers. Neither Damian Lillard nor Giannis Antetokounmpo expected to play. Tyrese Halliburton questionable with lower back spasms. The Pacers are 4.5-point road favorites. Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard has already been ruled out with a knee injury for tomorrow night's Game 5 against the Mavericks at Crypto.com Arena. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. And the Mariners, they've won 4 of their last 5, hosting the Braves for the second of a 3-game set this evening. Luis Castillo gets the start opposite Reynaldo Lopez, 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners hold a 1-game lead over the Rangers for the American League West lead. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. Time for today's worst day on the web with Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Man, that sucks.
It may be the longest running feud in the NBA. No, not who is number 1, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. And for all you Kobe acolytes out there, he's not top 10. Calm down. But it's Charles Barkley.
Whoa. No, you don't have Kobe
in the top 10.
A top 10?
He's not even a top 3 Laker.
Jeez.
Magic
That's not what
Kareem,
Shaq. That's not what Shaq said.
What's he going to say? He's dead.
What, Shaq?
No, Kobe.
Oh.
Of course he's going to say that. Come on.
Well, I don't know. Kobe's really good.
Sure. I'm not going to argue that.
I mean, Lakers historically really good.
Yeah.
Having 3 of the top 10 is not a bad.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not
that's
at all.
not out of the.
And again, Kobe being 11th, not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But there you go. Is the ongoing battle between Charles Barkley and the state of Texas, and particular cities in Texas. It started, 20 years ago with the rather large women in San Antonio, as you like to call them.
I'd rather go to San Antonio with them big old women.
That was a callback to a line when the San Antonio Spurs were in the playoffs, and they didn't want to go to San Antonio because he didn't want to do the Riverwalk with all those large women.
Well, the Riverwalk does smell awful.
You know what's funny is I got out of basic training. The Riverwalk was a slice of freedom for me. It was had the first women I had seen in 6+ weeks.
It probably still smelled better than the barracks too.
It did. Also, we went to Hooters, and I saw real women for the first time in 6 weeks.
Well, I don't think they were all real.
Danny getting out of basic training and going to a Hooters is the most on-brand thing ever.
So here's what happened. This is a quick derail, story time. I got out of basic training. I had my BCGs, otherwise known as my birth control glasses, the giant, brown horn rim glasses that nobody looks good in. My dad came down to graduation. He's like, how about we get rid of those? I'd be like, that'd be swell. So we went and found an optometrist, the same day appointment. Walk in, got my prescription, got my contacts. Got out of there. My dad's like, let's go get some food. I'm like, all right. He's like, you want to go to the Riverwalk? Sure. This is before, Google. You just try and go and see what you find. And my dad's like, how about 2 birds, 1 stone? Hooters.
Perfect. Again,
so
right on brand.
It was.
Is that a new euphemism? We're calling them birds now?
Yeah. definitely a lot of birds involved. But yeah, that's how I ended up at the Hooters. It was not a planned destination, nor did we know it was there. It was just very happenstantial and circumstantial.
Okay.
So there you go. But Charles Barkley, he ignited a new feud, and this time not San Antonio, but instead further to the south on the Gulf of Mexico with the city of Galveston.
Disappointed in New Orleans. Where they going, Chuck? Galveston. That dirty ass water. We're not even gonna send them to Cancun. We're gonna send them to Galveston where that dirty ass water be washed up on the shore. You people think they in the beach. Y'all located, we y'all gonna send y'all to Cancun. Y'all drive y'all quit. Drive your ass down to Galveston. Come on, man.
So they're not taking a little.
Come on, they didn't even try, man. We're not getting them no plane ticket to the beach. We send their ass to Galveston, Texas, right where that dirty water washed up on the beach. They can't even get in the water. Come on, man.
I love it too, because in the video, Shaq is he's deceased.
Dying.
He's deceased.
Lying over. Oh, man.
He's not wrong, though. Have you ever been to Galveston, either of you?
No, I've never been to Galveston.
No, I've
It's
not.
It's America's version of Somalia, where I want to say it's Satan's butthole. It's awful. I hate everything about it. It's gross, disgusting, nasty, and humid.
Oh.
Hey, don't hold back. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
I do not enjoy it. And I'm talking about particularly the beach, like where you're on the coast. It is gross.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
I have never heard it referred to as America's Somalia.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. That's the frame of reference that I have when I'm there, because it's so stuffy and nasty, and like you chew the air. New Orleans has that same feel too.
Yeah, there's a lot of really bad towns in Texas too, but you think it's the worst.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, okay.
Hate it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not a Gulf of Mexico, Texas person.
All right.
It's Houston, don't like it. Not for me.
Houston is just concrete jungle. Like that city sucks.
Yeah, that whole Corpus Christi, like that whole area, like nah, I can do without it.
Not for you.
Not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not where he was done though.
No, kept going.
He came back 2 nights later, and Chuck had to backtrack but still double down.
I don't want the beehive and Jay after Chuck. Just knows I apologize. I do not want the beehive and Jay after me.
So how do you like Galveston now? It's beautiful.
We're not. Would you go on vacation?
You've got a
oh,
chance.
hell no, I ain't going on vacation.
You've got a chance to wipe the slate clean
You
here.
got to
Turn
just say,
over a
I
new
would go to
leaf.
Let me tell you something. That water's so dirty, I'd rather go to San Antonio. I'd rather go to San Antonio with them big old women. No, I'm not going to Galveston. I want to go to the beach down in the river walk and watch them big old women walk around San Antonio.
So you know what? You know what sets him off. Okay, so you know what? We're going to
rather go, Chuck? San Antonio. That's what they invented Victoria's Secret, Chuck. Why is it secret? Because them little women down there, they can't get in them cute little underwear. They wear bloomers down in San Antonio. Oh, my God.
Somehow,
Victoria's Secret down there. It's still
somehow we are going to transition from that to this.
You like no parts of Texas.
He found out because Beyonce's mom tweeted at him.
Well, from Houston.
He does not. Yeah. Well, Beyonce's from Galveston.
Yeah.
Like she's from the city that Chuck is going in on. So he was like,
Swamp
the
Butt City.
Bayhive, I want nothing to do with.
Yeah, you don't.
My ire is now towards San Antonio and a little bit at Galveston still.
And not Galveston the city, Galveston the beach.
That's right.
Because there is a difference. But I love myself a good double down. You know what I love even more? A good triple down.
Wait, Galveston, man.
Oh, what is that? Oh, you were there. Oh, I had a great time. I said, first of all, first of all, I had a great time in the local hangouts when we played there, when we were down there for training camp. You just can't go to the beach. I want to say that everybody was great to me in Galveston. But your beach was dirty as hell.
Did you rent a bike? Did you actually rent a bike and go?
No, I walked around. Hey, I remember that spot was awesome. I went to that spot pretty much every night actually. But the beach was still dirty as hell. That ain't my fault.
Yeah, that's where.
Look at them.
That's where the Rockets.
Joseph, I remember y'all taking great care of me down in Galveston. I just couldn't go on the beach. I didn't have no steel toe boots.
Gotta have those for a beach.
Gotta have steel toe boots if you're going on that beach in Galveston.
Why you need steel toe?
Oh, because you don't want to mess up my pedicure.
Rocks and oil.
Oh my God! You stepping old sand, dirty sand, oil. Come on, you know I get a mani-pedi every week. I can't mess up these pretty feet.
I love it. Going to, the best part about this is somebody who had a picture from Charles Barkley at a bike shop in Galveston from the Houston Rockets training camp. What I would imagine was 96, 97.
Now, you may be wondering, why is their beach so dirty? They drill for oil right off the coast. Like there are quite literally hundreds
of oil rigs,
of oil derricks, like in the water, all along the shoreline. It's dirty water, and they've had massive oil spills, a bunch of massive oil spills. So it is not a great beach.
No, and that's why I compared it to Somalia, because you have a lot of the same issues through that area where you just have nasty, oily, disgusting water.
You know, I don't think that's why you called it Somalia. It was just the worst thing that you could come up with.
No, I mean, yes, but also because of the nasty, disgusting, muggy air and water.
It is like when you go down to, Houston and Southeast in Texas, it is like you walk outside in the summer, it feels like you're getting kicked in the stomach.
Oh, no, it's like chewing air.
So humid. You just go, and you have to like catch your breath because everything is air conditioned. Because I don't know how. My question is, why did people like settle? I'm going to live in Houston before air conditioning existed, because that is a life that nobody should want to live.
I don't.
It's like 89 degrees and 100% humidity.
It's super gross.
You walk through, you have to like push the air out of the way.
And as I always say,
you
can only get so naked.
You can only get so naked.
In the cold, I understand when people settle in the cold because like you can bundle up.
No, I still don't even. Nope. Not the cold. I would much rather have the heat than the cold.
Not that heat.
Yeah, I would. Oh, I would.
Give me the 120. Give me the Vegas heat over the Houston heat any day.
Well, of course. It's a dry heat.
Give me the dry heat.
Just like here, we have a dry rain.
Yeah.
Doesn't get you soaking wet.
No.
It's just dry rain every now and then.
Go to Seattle and then you're drenched.
That's right.
See?
It's a lot more of a dry rain down here.
But shout out doubling and tripling down against the cities that you hate. And also, the Oregon beaches are free and clear here.
That's right.
They're not catching any strays.
No.
It's because they're beautiful.
It's because they're also not beaches, they're coasts.
You stop that.
There you go. Fell right into the trap.
You stop that. Move back to California.
I mean, pay me to.
No.
Oh.
I have $3.
Jeff's like, what's your number?
$3 million. I've got $3.
Yeah, call me SpongeBob. Or is that Patrick?
Well, the money's a great transition here because the Oakland A's. Stop me if you've heard this one before. They're broke.
Just with the Oakland A's, it's just stop.
Yeah. The thing they said that they weren't going to do, they're trying to do it. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. As I said, going to the break, stop me if you heard this one before. John J. Fisher is a broke boy.
I will not stop you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we both shut up.
Yep, there you go. Bill Shaken from the LA Times is reporting the Athletics have hired an investment banker to secure $500 million in private financing. Weird. I thought that John J. Fisher and the A's assured everybody that they had all the money and that they had all the financing secured, and that's what got the vote that allowed them to move from Oakland to L.A.
They
or to Las Vegas.
Are not going to move to Vegas.
I think it's done, and they're going to lose. Shout out, you know what? Shout out to the land developers there that stole $50 million from them.
But here's the thing. I don't think that John J. Fisher moves the A's to Vegas. I think that if they do move,
it's a different
what
owner.
they're trying to do is John J. Fisher has been reluctant to sell anything of the Oakland A's. Now they're in a point where they need $500 million or this stadium does not happen. And they need it fast because if they don't break ground by the end of this year, then that stadium will not be done by 2028. At which point, Major League Baseball is going to step in and force him to sell the team. I think there's going to be plenty of people that are going to want a piece of a professional sports franchise. But do you want to get in bed with the guy who is absolutely the worst owner in all of professional sports right now? John J. Fisher is that guy.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a large palette for that because of how cheap he has been, the reputation that he has, not just in baseball, but in Oakland, in Las Vegas. Now that you're starting to see he doesn't operate like a businessman on the up and up, which most billionaires aren't on the up and up, if we're being quite honest. But he's a shady dude and he's wildly cheap. I don't know if there's going to be people who want to align themselves with John J. Fisher unless the plan is to torpedo him as the majority stake owner and get his ass out as the majority owner and buy the rest of the team up. That seems like the most reasonable thing because there's more of a swell now than ever before to get him out of ownership in baseball.
I think it's become so detrimental they don't have a choice.
Major League Baseball?
Major League Baseball. And that does exist. It's just a matter of when that lever is pulled. Like,
I mean, they got $389 million from the state,
which
they're going to get.
They're fighting against still. They're going to get it, but they're still fighting against it.
Yeah, because they took it from schools.
Yes, teachers are still fighting against it. Who knows? Maybe that there is a way that they end up putting a block to that.
It is think about this. It's a $1.5 billion stadium that they're trying to build. Major League Baseball gave them twice as much as they normally do to build a stadium.
And they still can't come up with the money.
They're $500 million short. I just imagine John J. Fisher, like I'm going to put on my Mark Cuban driving around looking for DeAndre Jordan's house, just like searching for him in Dallas, being like, where are you? Where are you? John J. Fisher's going door to door. He's selling chocolate bars in magazine
He's got his hat
subscriptions.
Out.
Well, or the next step.
He's like, oh, would you like to support the Oakland A's move to Las Vegas?
The next step is sitting at the off ramp of the 405 with a cardboard sign.
There we go.
Which I've heard actually make pretty decent money.
Yeah.
Turns out.
You do.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, you do. But this is a broke boy move by one of the worst owners by the worst owner in all of professional sports. And I think Major League Baseball is doing the right thing by giving him enough rope to hang himself.
Yes.
And he's going to do it. He's done it time and time again with the city of Oakland, with the city of San Jose. This is going to be the last time where they say, we gave you a golden parachute and you screwed it up.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, we see the team go for sale. Las Vegas is going to have the first crack at retaining the A's.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that.
But
there's going to be plenty of
here comes Portland
places that are lining up because Major League Baseball cannot afford to move the A's any further east.
No, they can't. Las Vegas is the cutoff.
Portland is going to be in the running for it. I think Vegas, they're going to have first crack. Salt Lake City's an interesting one, though, man, because we see with Ryan Smith
because the hockey.
Well, yes, they do because Ryan Smith already bought the Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
He bought hockey. He is he's in it deep
Yes.
right now, and he is a rich man. Do
Yeah,
not get me wrong.
He's worth, I want to say, like $15 billion after he sold his Qualtrics.
But this is going to be more billions of dollars, building your own stadium.
And a lot of escrow and a lot of
it's going to be a lot.
cash.
Sacramento seems to think that they have a shot at keeping the A's because that's where they're going to be playing temporarily.
Which, maybe.
I don't think so.
I feel like they need a stadium.
They are and they feel like they got a piece of land, and there's been like this little buzz about it, but of local business leaders kind of rallying the troops to try and keep them in Sacramento so they don't leave. They will be going and playing in Sacramento starting next year until 2028 when the Vegas stadium is supposed to be done. But I think that if you look at where Major League Baseball kind of wants the A's to go, it's Vegas. They desperately want a team there because you want to get in there before the NBA gets in there as well.
To get your foothold, because otherwise you won't have any.
And they're very. We may see oversaturation of Vegas sports
from none to every,
and
in a market that's not that big.
No, it's not. They support the out of the
Golden
Knights because they were first. They got in there. They support the Raiders, but a lot of those folks are coming in because it's one trip, right? It's one trip every so often for most teams in the NFL. But Chiefs fans, Broncos fans, Chargers fans, I should say Chargers fans coming from San Diego,
yes,
who will go to Vegas to watch a game, not to LA.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go there one time a year, and then the rest of the NFL goes there one time a year. Major League Baseball is different, right? Like baseball, you need a hometown support system in place because when the Mariners go there 3 times a year, people are only going to go once, right? It's not like what you have in the NFL where it's one trip a year. And that would be the interesting part about the NBA going there too, is that and again, this stadium is like semi-indoor that they're proposing to build in Vegas. It's going to be 120 degrees.
It's 120 degrees in the summer, guys. There's no anything about it. Where do you think Las Vegas ranks in media market size?
They're probably 28th. 40th. Yeah.
Behind Green Bay.
Yikes.
And they're about to have a team in every sport.
Yeah.
Crazy to think about.
But
it's because
more people go in there, visitors.
Yes, there's so many transplants.
Yes. Yeah. Which doesn't sustain or can't sustain that many teams.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting test there. And look, if you're telling me whether they're going to want to go and watch the Raiders, which is the NFL, which is king, NHL, which was the first one there, and that has their heart, or baseball run by the cheapest owner in sports, they're not going to support that. They won't.
A basketball team in a couple of years that's partially owned by LeBron James.
Sure.
Of which
he'll be a terrible owner.
They'll spend money.
Ooh, Rufio's the good one. Can we please get Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney to buy the A's? They'd instantly be rejuvenated.
I mean,
they don't have that kind of money.
No, unfortunately, they don't. But
they bought their soccer team for $2 million.
That's the kind of ownership you're looking for, though. That's for sure.
Yep.
Right. Speaking of the NBA, we got a poll up. Which team has been the most disappointing so far in the playoffs? 4 different options. You can go to at Danny and Dusty and make your vote count. And we'll get to that here in hour number 3 on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Hour number 3 on a Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM, or twitch.tv/1080 AM.
Oh,
yeah. We appreciate you. We love you. Let me tell you, you're wonderful. You're wonderful, all of you. I don't care what anybody else says about you.
Whoa.
It's true.
Russ, did you pick up on that? Did I hear a little Trump cadence in you? You're wonderful. We love you. You're wonderful. You're beautiful.
Many
everybody.
people are saying.
Many people are saying.
They come up to me with tears in their eyes and they say, "Thank you, Danny, for speaking the truth."
That wasn't on purpose.
That was a cadence that I've never heard you speak in before.
I mean, I was definitely going for a different cadence. That was for sure.
Wonderful. You're great.
Things that have never been seen before.
Beautiful. Going down that path. All right, we'll put that away for later. We have a poll up at Danny and Dusty. Which team has been the most disappointed in the playoffs this season? Suns, Lakers, 76ers, Bucks, and through 350 votes, essentially, Suns are running away with us at 71.7%.
Yeah, and it's right. It is the correct answer. They were wildly disappointing. They got their butts handed to them by Ant Edwards, who we have had this conversation with a couple of guys a couple of weekends ago, and the question was, Ant Edwards, top 5 player in the NBA? And it was like, you want to go, yes, but then you're like, no.
As soon as you do the 5, you
go down the list, you're like, damn, there's
Joker,
5 really good
Luka,
players.
Shea, Joel. That's 4 already.
Yeah.
And are you saying Ant's next?
And that is very tough putt right there.
Don't think so.
But
top
he's
10?
He's in that conversation for top 10
you
right
could
now.
throw him in the top 10, and like when you say top 10, what you actually mean is top 17.
Yeah, it's a flexible 10.
It's a flexible 10. Like on any given day,
10.
like because LeBron can still be there, AD can be there, Steph can be there, Dame can be there. Like we got to that top 4 and we didn't say Giannis, which is your number 5.
Yes.
Like, so, but you still got a lot of dudes there where you go, whew, the NBA is in a really good spot right now.
It is in a great spot.
It really is.
Young, old, in between, and like, look, make no mistake about what we're seeing right now. Like, it gets overused all the time. Changing of the guard. It's seeing
actually
it.
happening.
We are seeing it right now because the old dogs, they are starting to get run out of town right now. And we see it in results in playoff games. Like LeBron has still got it. Yeah. He has still got it. Steph has still got it. KD
still got it.
Still got it. But they don't have enough to drag a team like they have before through the first round of the playoffs because these young teams have young stars that are able to do it like those guys once did, but they also have more complete teams around them too.
See, some of these old dogs in these playoffs, they got taken out back and got old Yellard.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Metaphorically shot in the head.
Yeah, it was implied with the old Yeller, Danny.
I think that was pretty clear.
I was explaining it. Not everyone understands the reference.
He's like, let me explain what happened.
I feel like Old Yeller is a pretty universal storyline there.
I bet you if I went in a locker room full of 24-year-olds, they'd be like, Old Yellow? Yeah, no, Yellow Wolf? Yeah, I know who that is.
Yellow Wolf?
Yeah,
well,
see, that's where you lose me.
Yeah, see,
I guarantee you more people know Old Yeller than Yellow Wolf.
Sure, certainly.
Yeah.
But on that same wavelength,
let me see this.
I bet you they don't know who Old Yeller is.
No.
Among the kids,
Yellow Wolf.
Yeah.
It's not even yellow.
No.
It's Yellow Wolf.
Of course.
All right.
Come on now.
Well, I don't know.
But the surprising one on here is that
Look at that.
the Bucks are coming in number 2. I thought either the Lakers or 76ers would be the ones that would show up here.
Yeah, I thought 76ers would be just because Embiid got back and how good they were making that push.
And they're stumbled. And we keep talking about how close the Lakers and Nuggets series has been, but it wasn't that close. The 76ers have been in every game.
And I think
you could argue that they should have won 2 games. This should be 3-1 the other way right now.
I still can't get over game
that
1.
Inbound collapse.
Well, in game 1, when Nick Nurse is not fouling.
Yeah.
Like it's a 2-possession game and you're like, let's see if we can play this out. It's like, what makes you think that against the New York Knicks, you are going to get like an 8-second backcourt violation?
And then you can easily say that they were robbed in game 2.
Yes.
But don't put yourself in that situation.
Don't
Have
put yourself in
have
that
better
situation.
execution.
But and those are crippling in a series, like those momentum killers right
Mhm.
there. And Joel Embiid gave you his best shot in those early games, and now you're seeing him wear down in the playoffs again. And look, he's playing and he's battling through the playoffs.
He's playing on one leg.
But it is also that Zion-esque, like, dude,
You're just waiting for it to
you've got to be healthy
Yeah.
for us to trust you or your team.
And as it pertains to teams, Nick Engstad, who covers the Mavs, tweeted this out earlier today. Teams that have made 14 or more threes are undefeated in the playoffs so far. 16-0.
Whoa, that's a good stat.
14 to basically 15 appears to be the cutoff of like if you hit 15 threes, book it.
Boom.
Which is how the Heat have stolen a game and how the Bucks stole their game without
The
Dame.
Heat 23?
23 franchise record.
Yeah, Dame stole a game in the first half, just going
absolutely
ham.
nuclear. Yeah. So the 3-point shot is still a great equalizer, but I'm surprised the Lakers and 76ers didn't end up with more of the vote. But yeah, it's essentially 72% Suns, 21% Bucks with a little smattering, a little under 7% combined for Lakers and Lakers and 76ers.
I think the Bucks get that push because we're in Portland and Damian Lillard, obviously.
In the anticipation or hope.
If Damian Lillard could drag the Portland Trailblazers past the first round, you're sitting there like, come on, bud. But he's hurt.
If he was healthy,
Again.
they'd have a chance. But he came into the
Giannis is
series.
hurt.
Yeah.
That's
Who?
that guy, exactly. That's a tough road to hoe when you got your two big stars.
I'm more of a Theonis fan myself.
Thanasis?
Yep.
That one.
That's
That mixture of words.
I like
syllables.
Thanos.
Yeah. Thanos.
And
He
the
just
Bucks
takes
and
out
Infinity
half.
Thanos onto the Kumbo.
Takes out half of them
Yeah.
immediately.
Ooh, I like that.
And just boom.
Thanos colorway coming to the freak shoe line. A little Infinity Stone action. I'm sure Marvel would love the crossover. But yeah, that's your most disappointing in the playoffs this season. I threw this out there earlier, and it irked some people on the text line.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, not top 10 all time. I wrote down my list. We'll get to the.
Oh, you have your top 10?
I have my top 10. We'll get to that here coming up next on Danny and Dustin.
Don't be
Danny and the Fan.
wrong.
right, let's all argue. That's what this segment is. Let's argue. I said earlier, I don't have Kobe in my top 10. And that's not like some I don't have Kobe in my top 10. I just haven't ever had Kobe in my top 10. I think he's a tremendous player. I don't think he's a top 3 Laker of all time.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. Lakers have had a lot of really good players. And I think that I hate the Lakers, but that goes to how good that franchise has been. I mean, when you think of how many truly transcendent talents have played for the Lakers, it's staggering. And Kobe, that's the thing about Kobe is I can sit there and I go, yeah, he's not a top 3 Laker because you have Kareem, Shaq, and Magic. I mean, but Kobe Bryant is still really
good.
And in my opinion, one of the top 10 players in the NBA's history.
Do we throw Wilt in there too in terms of Lakers?
I always think of Wilt as a warrior.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll always go as a Wilt a warrior. I'm not going to put, I don't know.
Lou Alcindor is a buck.
That's more, or Walton as a Celtic.
Clipper.
He won a title with the Celtics, but it's like I'm not considering
he's a Blazer.
He's a Blazer. Yeah, where his best years were. I'll go where your best years were.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I went with this.
Patrick Ewing, one of the greatest Raptors of all time.
There you go.
Magic. Yeah.
Hakeem Olajuwon was
Raptor.
Sonics.
Raptor.
Yeah.
Sean Kemp, great Blazer.
Magic.
Shout out, getting that contract to him. Truly incredible stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was
truly
a playoff team.
My top 10, I literally wrote it down. I was like, okay, let me go through this real quick. I went Braun MJ with the slash. I don't care which one you put first.
Do it.
I'll put Braun first. Dun, 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 dun.
You animal. I don't even know you anymore.
Then Kareem. Then Duncan. Magic.
Kiss my ass.
Wilt. Shaq. Bird. Steph. Hakeem.
Steph.
Indeed.
Changing the game.
And that's the thing. It's every one of these guys in one sense or another changed the game.
Yeah.
Kareem is most dynamic player we'd ever seen at that point in time. Magic Johnson changed the way that you play basketball.
Point center.
Bird and him saved basketball. Bird also did a lot for the white folks.
Well, Larry Bird, he gets lost in the sauce on how just great he was because he was both ends of the floor. Incredible.
Also,
and I think that he is underrated for his athleticism too,
because
of his
complexion.
injuries.
Well, not only that, but his complexion.
Yes.
You mean Indiana State's all-time batting average leader?
Yes.
Yes.
Larry
Indeed.
Bird. One game.
Yeah. Was he the first Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
You mean you're not wrong?
So that's your top 10.
That's my top 10.
Where do you have Kobe at?
Kobe's probably 11.
Probably
it's
11.
It's 11 or 12. If you want to split hairs, because I don't have Russell in here. I don't have Russell, so that's my
no Bill Russell.
That's my 11-12 is Kobe Russell.
Okay.
Because I don't look at this as like the rings argument.
No.
I think of it as who's the best player that played. And
I think Bill Russell. I have a lot of love for Bill Russell because of the fact that his basketball IQ was through the roof.
Yeah, and the stuff that he had to go with,
just dominant.
Yeah,
he was dominant
and playing in a time period where being black was not something that was okay in Boston.
And he was physically a dominant player, but between the ears, kind of that's where he even separated himself even more as a player.
So much so he became a coach.
Coach player, coach/player. He lived the LeBron dream. Where LeBron wants to be the coach.
LeBron said, look, he did it.
That is what Jeannie Buss is going to do.
Player coach him, save some money.
They're going to draft.
We just don't have the money.
Bronny, and they're going to make LeBron coach player.
I can see it. But yeah, my list is based on like defining positional greatness. And Braun, Jordan, Kareem. Duncan's the best power forward to ever play the game.
Yep.
Magic reinvented the game. Wilt is the most dominant player in his era. There's two players that dominated their eras in a way that nobody else could. That's Wilt and it's Shaq.
Yeah.
There was nothing you could do about. They were inevitable.
Can't defend them.
There's people like, well, Shaq couldn't hang in today. Shaq would be 30-15 in today.
And Shaq's body would look a lot different today.
I still think he wouldn't be the 400. Again, for those that don't know, Shaq finally went public with it. He got up to 430 pounds. He was playing at 415 to 420 in LA.
Yeah.
400 pounds.
That's
7'1".
He's a big ass boy.
Okay. He is the most physically dominant player the league has ever seen, full stop. No one comes close. There is no one in the NBA right now who could guard him. Not one. We talk about, well, you can't guard Jokic. Jokic would be an afterthought to that man in the paint.
Jokic was really bad defensively in that Lakers series.
Yeah,
Can we agree
he
with
was
that?
dogging it. Yeah, he was.
Jokic, it was like, what is he doing at times?
I think
his drop coverage on pick and rolls was like, I'm just gonna go to the circle.
They just went to the nail and called it good. Yeah,
just be like, I'm here.
Yeah, I think they were genuinely trying to save it. Just like get to the next round, just move on.
I loved that.
But Steph redefined basketball.
Yeah, he did.
Hakeem
pushed everything back.
Hakeem, the second he got a running mate, oh weird, NBA title, huh? No way, shocking.
Yeah,
it's like so. Yeah, and this isn't a slight to Kobe. I don't see him as that guy.
I do. I got him in my top 10.
Where did you have it at?
I have a 9.
So just squeaking in.
Just squeaking in, and I got Jordan, Braun, Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, Magic, Bird, Russell, Kobe, Hakeem Olajuwon.
If you
Dream
have
shake.
If you have Kobe in your top 5, you're a Laker fan.
Yeah,
that's
you
like,
are.
There's
not.
There's not an argument, and he's not top 3. Everybody's like, oh, you know, LeBron, Michael, Kobe. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No. Great shoes, great basketball player.
Rest in peace. Dead.
Yeah.
But does not make him top 5.
Is
he top 5 dead players in NBA history?
Yes.
Yeah, you looked at your list.
Look at my list.
You had to look at your list.
Who's dead? Yes.
Top 5 dead players in NBA history.
Top 2 dead players.
Wilt.
Kobe.
What, Russell?
Oh, sorry, he just died. Top 3. Top 3.
Yeah. Don't remember when the whole league retired his number?
I forgot number 6. Yeah, patch.
Yeah.
I still have him flipping the bird to the camera. That was still great. Was it Barkley he was flipping off? I think it was Barkley he was flipping off on stage. But yeah, top 3 dead player.
All right.
I heard a theory about Kobe and where his standing is. It's kind of gross, but is he looked at more favorably because he died early?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, because a lot of people still have, like, all of those Laker fans were always trying to push that narrative far before he even died. But I think that what you're going to have is his as more players come along, he will stay higher in that hierarchy because of his passing and how big it was for, if you think about like kids right now, they're remembering the day that Kobe died.
Yeah.
Right. And that sticks with you. And because of all of everything that we heard in the wake of his death was all about his greatness on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we were flooded with all those things that, like The Last Dance did it for Jordan, which brought up like all the young Sparkies during COVID were like, damn, he was better than Braun is. Like, okay, we're going to have, because that conversation, like you have people that are like more willing to see, no, Jordan over LeBron, because it was front and center and we all saw it, right?
Also directed or produced by Michael Jordan, remember?
Yeah, absolutely. Made him look a lot better.
Pretty generous retelling, so much so that his former teammates are doing their own version.
But it did help. It helped Jordan in that conversation.
Great imagery happened.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that kind of hurts Bird is that Larry Bird was around the game and still is around the game right
now. He sits in
now.
the background. He does not want to be seen.
Exactly. But he coached. He's been a front office guy. Like,
he's been successful at every level.
And I think it really hurts Hakeem Olajuwon too. Like, Hakeem Olajuwon isn't like a guy sitting there pounding his greatness.
No. You know how
but
you get to
we
Hakeem?
forget how great he was.
You know how you get to him? With $250,000. That's how much it costs to go get lessons from Hakeem.
That's a pretty good deal to learn the Dream Shake from the Dream
$250,000
himself.
he'll get Hakeem to come out for the summer.
How many guys are doing that for the whole summer?
Yeah.
You get $250,000 for the whole summer.
Yeah, Joel did.
I think that's a sound
Very
investment.
much. Have you seen Joel's footwork?
It's a lot better.
It's some of the best in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's some of the best ever for a guy that big.
Dang.
So
here's a text on Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. Where's AI then? Allen Iverson. He changed the game and how players can act, started the player empowerment movement.
That's not basketball.
Yeah, but a
He matters.
small guy that
Sure.
was able to score the way he did, not from the perimeter too.
But also, much like Kobe, not efficiently at all.
Not efficiently at all. That good defender too.
Got a lot of steals. And that's the thing is, there's been a lot of discussion about retroactively with Kobe's defense. It was okay. Kobe's defense was okay.
Kobe's the only player to record 600 points, 100 rebounds, 100 assists, 3 consecutive playoff seasons. How did that not change the game? That from B-Rod.
Look, I'm not saying
Noted Laker fan B-Rod.
Again, not saying that Kobe's not a great player. He's just not a top 3 Laker.
Where does Tim Duncan fall in all this too?
I like I said, I have him 4th.
Yeah.
All time.
I love Tim Duncan.
I
Yeah.
missed
No,
that.
No, I've got Duncan
Love
4th.
Tim Duncan.
I think Duncan's the most underrated player in the history of the game.
Yes. Yes.
Dominant on both sides of the ball. One of the highest IQs we've ever seen play the game.
Yeah. and-
Did the most while doing the least. He was Jokic before Jokic as far as like just dissecting teams. Not necessarily as a playmaker, but as a decision maker.
And I could see Jokic going post-career very similar to Tim Duncan, just like pothead. Like Tim Duncan, if you see, when they did a close-up of him, like on sideline, he was at one of the games over the weekend,
he
right?
coached for the Spurs, so.
But he was at a game where they like did like a close-up. I was like, but that's not the Tim Duncan that I remember watching.
Oh, that hair.
The hair,
super long, super
he's-
thick.
Yeah, and he's got like a, I don't know if he's got the twisties
Oh,
going.
he's at the Redlocks in. Yeah.
That man looks like he's living his best Bob
Look,
Marley
when,
life.
when he's not coaching, he's back in the Virgin Islands, man. Like he's
good for him.
He's chilling.
But couldn't you see Jokic going that route? Maybe not with the hair. But
No, because he'll never be around the NBA. He will go back to Serbia and be with his horses, and we will never hear from him again.
I know, but I'm just saying, you see him, you're like, that's a different person than the guy that played in the NBA.
No,
like that guy.
No, I think he's the only thing that changes is maybe the hair grows.
Yeah,
but
the
otherwise
hair
he's the
grows,
exact same person.
And I think we sit there and we look at him, we're like, that dude has got some vices.
I look at him now and see that. Have you seen his brothers?
Yeah, I know. But he keeps it in check. He just dresses like Gru from whatever, Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like Michael Jordan. When you're going to be great, you'll keep your vices in check. like any grown adult. So there you go. There's my top 10. Argue with it all you want. I don't care.
You moron.
There you go. All right, coming up next, 2 teams are fighting for their playoff lives. The Bucks and the 76ers are up against it. Which team is going to, if any, survive to fight another night? But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan. 3 more games today in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Knicks holding a 3-1 series lead, hosting the 76ers. Joel Embiid missed morning shoot around with a migraine. He's questionable while also dealing with a knee injury. Kelly Oubre Jr. probable with an illness. Meanwhile, Bojan Bogdanovic out for New York. He'll have season-ending surgeries on his foot and wrist. Mitchell Robinson is questionable, and Jalen Brunson is probable. It's a 4 o'clock tip on TNT. The Knicks are 3.5-point favorites. 5 o'clock on NBA TV from Cleveland. The Cavaliers and Magic tied at 2 games each. The Cavs are 5.5-point favorites. And in the nightcap, tipping around 6:30 on TNT, the Bucks down 3-1, hosting the Pacers. Neither Damian Lillard nor Giannis Antetokounmpo expected to play. Tyrese Halliburton questionable with lower back spasms. The Pacers are 4.5-point road favorites. Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard has been ruled out with a knee injury for tomorrow's Game 5 against the Mavericks. That series is tied at 2 games each. And Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis also out for tomorrow's Game 5 against the Heat with a right soleus strain. Boston leads that series 3-1. And the Mariners have won 4 of their last 5. They host the Braves for the second of a 3-game set. Luis Castillo on the bump opposite Reynaldo Lopez. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners hold a 1-game lead over the Rangers in the AL West. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan.
Auto accident? Need a loaner today? Call Life's Auto Collision Centers. We can get you into a replacement vehicle as early as today. At Life's, we work with all insurance companies. We process your claim fast, repair your vehicle to pre-loss, bill direct, and get you back on the road hassle-free.
It's put up or shut up time for two teams in the NBA tonight as the Indiana Pacers take on the Milwaukee Bucks, up 3-1 with the opportunity to send the Bucks home.
1, 2, 3, Cancun!
While the New York Knicks have the opportunity to send Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia Sixers home, up 3-1 in that series.
I love what the Knicks are doing. I really think about this. How many teams have we seen in this playoffs, let alone in the NBA, can withstand having your second best player get injured, be done for the year, and mow their way through like they have in this opening round? I mean, Julius Randle, like, he's second best player. Jalen Brunson is number one. Obviously, getting OG Anunoby in that trade midseason, that was a game changer.
Having Josh Hart, getting Bojan Bogdanovic, who's now going to be out for the rest of the playoffs, unfortunately, with multiple injuries. Alec Burks is still there. Maybe you find the ghost of him, but Deuce McBride emerging this year. Like, they have more depth than anyone. And look, everybody says, oh, you got to have star power, but you have to have some depth so you can absorb. And this is the way you look at Milwaukee and you go, yeah, Middleton's hurt, Dame's hurt, Giannis is hurt. Everyone's being elevated in a position that no one survives that. Like, that's the way that goes. But you can survive here because you're number one and Brunson is a top 10, i.e. top 17 player in the NBA.
And he plays in these games in crunch time at the God tier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is ice water through his veins in those crunch time moments.
His first 2 games he wasn't. His first 2 games he was awful.
Yeah, and they split. I mean, yeah, they split. But in crunch time, he shows up for you. And they got guys, like you mentioned Josh Hart, but Dante DiVincenzo too. The role players that they just Tibbs just squeezes the most out of him. I really like Tibbs. I think it is very real and valid what he was doing in Chicago and Minnesota, just running guys into the ground. And we talked about this.
He's still doing it.
But they had so many injuries over the course of the season. It was like, this actually might help them.
Because it kept guys fresh because they didn't play. Because if
they
you look at
staggered
right now,
it all out.
Yeah, the injuries staggered their time out throughout the season. But you look at, last game, basically the starting lineup played 40 minutes.
Yep.
Like, not 1 or 2. Like, usually your stars play like 40, 42 in the playoffs. That's normal for anybody who doesn't know that. Like, usually get like 2 4-minute breaks, and it's in between the first and second quarters, in between the third and fourth quarters. They try to get you like the back end on those, so you can kind of close things out and get you the most rest as possible through the quarter break commercials.
Also, Isaiah Hartenstein has been incredible.
Yes,
for
again,
them.
and with Mitchell Robinson being banged up, and Hartenstein getting 5 fouls in the fourth quarter was insane. But then it forced them to go small, and OG Anunoby came in and probably won them the game.
Yeah,
because Embiid can't move and he can't chase OG Anunoby around the floor.
Last game, Anunoby played 47 minutes. Josh Hart played 46 minutes.
Yeah, there it is.
Jalen Brunson played 44 minutes.
And the only reason Jalen Brunson didn't play all 48 is because going into the fourth quarter, he banged his knee in the end of the third quarter. It took him a few minutes to get out of the locker room after getting checked out, and he has a knee contusion. He's game time decision, which means he's playing.
What's up with that 1 minute that Anunoby was out? Soft or?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think they brought Hartenstein in and he in the fourth, and I think Anunoby checked out for a minute, and then he picked up his 5th foul, and then they brought Anunoby right back in after he picked up his 5th, and Anunoby ended up closing out the game. They didn't bring Hartenstein back in after that. So yeah, they got OG a whole minute.
What a bum.
And they got Josh Hart too.
Just like, yeah. Look, what are you doing, Josh?
Speaking of Bill Russell, if Josh Hart was 6'10", he'd be Bill Russell-esque. My God, the amount of rebounding and like center type stuff that he does,
gritty little feller
at 6'4" is absolutely unhinged.
Yeah, just couldn't do it here in Portland.
No, he did rebound. No. He rebounded like an absolute animal here. It's just the problem is
I'm talking about like get him over the hump.
Oh yeah, I mean
get him over the hump.
They needed more 6'8" guys and less 6'4" guys.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, turns out
no way.
The Knicks have quite a few of those.
They got some big dudes.
Yeah. OG's a truck. That man is huge.
If only the Blazers could have gotten into talks for OG Anunoby too.
Yeah. Or I don't know, drafted him.
If only.
If only that opportunity hadn't presented itself.
Yeah, that was
multiple times.
Yeah.
That's the thing that irritates me so much is they had multiple opportunities to draft him. And instead, they traded it for the opportunity to draft Zach Collins. Hey! All right. More likely to keep this series
what's better,
going.
A guy who you project to be a starter and has a really high ceiling, or a backup big at Gonzaga?
You're selling it short. A combination of LaMarcus Aldridge, Rasheed Wallace, and Kevin McHale.
Yeah, who it was just like he backed up at Gonzaga, but it was there. It was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should have gone with Anunoby.
Turns out,
well, OG is pretty good.
Turns out, who's more likely to keep the series going, Philly, or stealing it from Jeff Rust, Milwaukee?
Oh, Philly.
Okay.
No Dame, no Giannis.
You don't think they can steal another one from Indianapolis, even with
being at home, maybe
Indiana,
or being at home?
Thank you.
Maybe you get a little.
Don't go outside on your home court.
Yeah, and maybe the
Middleton
Pacers
Magic.
take their eye off the prize, but you're sitting there and you're looking at a 3-1 hole Embiid looked like it was finally all catching up with him in the second
Yeah.
half of that last
Got to
game
find a way to
against
get him
Knicks.
some sort of rest.
And are we going to say Toby has a big game and helps carry? Is Nick going to have a big game?
It'd be a first for Tobias to show up.
Right?
Here's your
That's why
76er stat. In 31 minutes off the floor in the entire series, 4 games, Joel Embiid has been off the court for 31 minutes. They are a minus 38.
Yikes.
More than a point per minute he is off the floor.
That's not good, Bob. That's not good. But I still think they are healthier than Milwaukee is right now. Milwaukee is bludgeoned by the injury bug.
Chris is hanging on by a thread. Dame's Achilles and groin, and Giannis's Achilles.
Spin zone here. Do you think Doc Rivers' pregame pep talk, maybe to get Milwaukee going, is, hey, guys, I've been on the other side of this, and it can be done. Like, it's a 3-1 lead.
I've seen a 3-1 lead get blown, let me tell you.
It does not mean that we are done, guys. I've seen this before. I have firsthand experience several times, actually more than anybody else in NBA history. I have been a part of 3-1 series leads evaporating and losing series like that. Guys, it can be done. We just got to make sure we're on the other side of it. Maybe that's the pep talk that the old Milwaukee Bucks and Pat Connaughton comes out and drops a 40-piece on them.
Playoff P.
Not Paul George.
No, Pat Connaughton.
It's Pat Connaughton.
NBA champion Pat Connaughton. Put some respect on his name.
Another former Blazer role player doing his damn thing in the playoffs, huh?
All right. So that's what you have to look forward to tonight.
So sad.
After this, we'll get you ready to hand you off to Isaac Asute coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. sports business news as we get out of here. People have been wondering about the TV deal as it pertains to the NBA. Is there going to be money? The league is going to take a hit. Oh, no, what's going to happen? The NBA is going to struggle. Right now, NBC is looking to put a $2.5 billion annual deal over the top to keep TNT out going forward. Folks, there will be money.
Well, yeah, there's going to be money because it is the third most popular sport in our country. That's it right there. Yeah. I mean, I think where a lot of the money in television is the trickle down in college sports, especially because you pay your top, you have your priorities and you pay your top brands. The NBA is the second most popular sport in America as far as television viewing professionally. It goes NFL, college football, NBA. $2.5 billion. That's about right for
that's just for the NBC part of it, and that's a partial package because you're going to get an over the top from Amazon. When this is all said and done, this deal is not going to be that much short of the NFL's.
Well, yeah,
it's going to be
you
shorter.
Have so much more inventory.
Yes,
yeah,
but this is a massive bump. The other part of NBC.
So if you think NBA players are overpaid now,
wait till you see the guaranteed contracts coming forward. Holy crap! $100 million players coming.
Yeah,
$100 million players coming.
$100 million a year.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the first $100 million player?
He's not in the league yet.
Wemby
might be
because
in the league.
he'll be able to get he'll be able to get that supermax deal
in like year 10. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you could see Wemby doing it.
It's going to be interesting to see where, as it keeps inching towards that. But more importantly about NBC getting involved, John Tesh himself has been contacted and said, if NBC and the NBA can come together on a rights agreement, all the NBA needs to do is call John Tesh and his lawyer. They will work out a deal. Round Ball Rock will be back.
Look, it can't be that expensive if DraftKings and Kevin Hart can use it in a commercial. I mean, do the right thing. Bring Round Ball Rock back, and the very first time they play it, they have to use the footage from when he was on stage calling his answering machine at home, which is, it was so great, and how he had like a dream about how to make this work, and he left it on his own answering machine at his home.
Yeah, amazing how the betting apps in Las Vegas might not have enough money for Round Ball Rock, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the NBA can make this work.
Yeah. So, bring it back. Sean Highkin, friend of the show, said the NBA has an opportunity to do the dumbest thing possible here. And instead of getting Round Ball Rock back, they get Round Ball Rock back, but instead of having this version, they have like some crappy cover band or something else.
It'll happen.
I think he used Imagine
Dragons. That's what it was.
Example,
they have Imagine Dragons redo it. Which, look, Imagine Dragons plays to sold out shows everywhere.
Yes.
But so does Dave Matthews Band.
Well, or use the Saturday Night Live sketch version with Jason Sudeikis and Tim Anderson.
Yes.
They put lyrics in with it.
Yeah.
That was great.
Give me the basketball.
Sudeikis and LeBron doing Taco Bell commercials is something.
I hate it because they got the rights to Taco Tuesday. And this is what they came up with.
It's better than Chet and SGA singing. Give me more.
Shout out to Ian Carmel, who highlighted, I don't even know what they're selling anymore. I don't either.
I have no idea.
I could not tell you. Is it cell phone?
Cell phones? Is it?
That's what I keep going back to. Like, I think it's cell phone. I haven't looked.
I think.
AT&T?
Maybe? Yeah.
But I'm not linking the two directly. But if I make that link, I'm going to hate it.
Yeah, I can't think of the product. All I can think about is how much I hate that spot.
Yeah, it is overplayed. It's been